like Newcastle Stadium the other day, and it was just all Sports Direct.
Oh.
So like I think Paddy Power or something took it, and they were just like, and people wonder why Mike Ashley doesn't want to sell Newcastle. I was just like, getting Sports Direct out there to whatever a billion people or whatever.
Hello and welcome back to another Betting Bankers live stream. We're here to discuss all
things. That's obviously your work setup, guys. You haven't been near the office at all, have you not?
Horse racing, NFL,
no, I haven't been.
We share our bets before the event starts. We monitor the
but I've had this set up for
happens.
Probably 3 years.
Let's get
now.
cheering on those winners.
Obviously without the mic. But I bought those screens. With the setup, I can actually buy 2 more, so I can have 4 screens on the stand. Look, so it's fairly good. Not that I would ever need 4 screens on the stand, but
you find some use for them.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like they come into their own over COVID because my neck could be in bits on a laptop.
Ah man, I'm on a laptop like that. I can't be at home on a fucking laptop. And apartments, like I don't have a kitchen table. Is it like even a kitchen? It's a killer. I went and have this like shelf thing that's like a table for one.
Hello,
so
welcome back.
It's depressing. If I could take a picture of it, fucking hell.
Table for one.
In fairness to BMI Mellon, like they were basically shipping
Hello,
out
and
stuff.
welcome back to another
So
Betting
if you
Bankers
wanted
live
3
stream.
monitors,
We're here to discuss all things gambling related, with a focus on soccer, horse racing, NFL, and
NBA. And stuff.
We share our bets before the event starts.
They were
and
pretty
monitor
good
the
about
progress as the action
Didn't need
happens.
to do it. So.
Let's get cheering on those winners and making some money.
I want to figure out how to get onto that live tag on YouTube, maybe. Because I've gone into it there now, and there's like people. There's one thing here. It's actually Stuttgart versus Mainz live, and there's 28 people watching it, but they're on a live tag, like.
Yeah, I wondered, do you have to pay for that, or?
I don't know. Like it might be something the way you classify your video or something like that. I'll look it up and see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Betting Bankers. That's probably the worst start we've ever had to a show. So you've probably heard the guys talking there for a while and saw us hopping between various different scenes. So hopefully, apologies for that. I was going to give a quick introduction to what we've been talking about, but I'm pretty sure anyone who's been watching the show since the start would have heard everything the guys have said.
Office furniture.
Yeah, so
I mean, we always start with talking about furniture, right?
Yeah, a couple of banks got name checked for having good taking good care of their employees, which is always positive.
I didn't realise that we were live, lad. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. You're looking very formal tonight, Mark.
Yeah, just my office attire.
You don't have the casual Friday over there, no?
This is casual Friday, Sats. This is dress down Friday. So yeah, no, I didn't have my I had a sleep last week, I'll be honest, and it killed me, and it killed my internet connection as well. So it was a problem. So I didn't have a sleep this week. I didn't even have a change of clothes. I just had a beer.
What do you mean?
Speaking of which, prop yourselves up. So Slats,
dive in there, Slats.
Dive in straight in. Yeah, just...
What is it?
For the bet.
Sorry, anyone watching? There's a bet that might be going on soon.
Yeah, so we're going to start our roller for the night. Well, I was going to lean on the lads. So the idea is we start with €100, put that onto a bet. Hopefully, one that is going to come in, relatively soon. And if it does come in, then you roll the profit and original take onto another. So we start with €100, and then what the first bet we're looking at is 1.7 at the moment. So if we do actually get on this, it'll be 170 back, and then we'll roll that 170 onto something else after, and hopefully build that 100 quid up to 200 or 300 quid by the end of the show. All going well. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. The match we were going to pick is the Stuttgart Mainz game in the Bundesliga. It's 18 minutes into it now, so it gives us, the pre-game stats are good for a first half goal, but what's probably more useful is the in-play stats that you have, or watching the game, the kind of feel for you get. So I think Gary and you're both having a look at it, right? So you think we should still go ahead with this, or should we pull the plug and look for something else?
are we going for a first half goal or a goal overall? So like basically
first half goal.
First half goal. There haven't been many clear-cut opportunities now. It's been like it has been end to end, but when both teams get to each other's 18-yard box, they kind of do nothing with the ball. So it depends on the price. If it's anything like less than 1-2, I wouldn't be on for it. To be honest, I think we'd be better off holding off for the Reading game or the Italy games.
4 to 5 at this stage.
Which is it? Sorry.
Nearly 4 to 5. It's
1.7. Oh, well, then there's probably, in fairness, there's probably value in that, or even controversially going half the pot on it. But if it's 4 to 5 or even money, then I'd say pull the trigger.
I think it even money.
Crappy one.
Yeah.
Considering at the start of the game it was 1-2 for like over 2.5 goals, even money for a first half goal seems fairly good. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that late in it. I mean, they always take, generally, like it takes a while to get into the game. So,
yeah, and as we don't know whether they caught, like everybody caught it before we came online, but there has been a lot of fouls in the game, so like the chance of a penalty or whatever is there. So, I'd say pull the trigger.
Full 100, or are we going half? I'd
say half.
I thought you frowned when I said half, LB.
No, I was going to say it's a good one. Like we're getting the value anyway, so we might as well. We're getting an extra price, so tone down the stake would be my.
Yeah, well, I agree with that.
I think otherwise, 15 minutes time, it'll be half time, and we'll be reloading the full pot. It's probably my fear if we go half. So.
We go half and then half again.
Yeah. Just a quick one. This is probably anyone who's watching can comment on, or any of the guys on the stream here. We've advertised this match as Stuttgart, but we've got Fiorentina, Torino up on the screen. Not sure which way to play that. Which one will we stick with?
Well, we have the bet on Stuttgart now, so we go with that for now.
Go with Stuttgart.
So it's €50 on to win 40 for a first half goal. Hopefully it'll come soon. And then I like that Torino game, LB, you were talking about maybe doing a first half goal there. I was saying the Torino stats, while we're happy with the both teams to score, but we had they hadn't been scoring a huge amount of first half goals. But based on Fiorentina's stats, I'd be comfortable enough rolling on to that. There's already been a shot on target by Torino 3 minutes in. I don't know if you're going to be looking at it or.
You want to throw the other half on that or no?
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Let's just have a look at the odds. We might leave it a few minutes and see how the in-play stats are looking. I know you're always risking missing the game then. Missing the goal, rather. Let me just see what it is for a first half goal there. It started at about 1.4, I think. Yeah, it's already... Geez, it's 1.6. That does seem like good value for it.
Yeah, 1.6 not bad at all.
Right, we get it on, the other half.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Double up.
Yeah. Stuttgart are having a nice bit of possession, a bit of attack and threat there. So, hopefully this game's starting to open up.
Very good. So, we've 2 early bets on, both first half goals, one in Serie A and Torino game, and one in the Bundesliga Stuttgart game.
Slash, you're putting my multitasking abilities to shame here. Back when I was putting the bets on, I couldn't even get them on. You're giving us 5 bets on too. It's like, okay, Stuttgart, and then hear that scream. Do you guys listen to Flash Score when you're watching? No, I had a Flash Score in the ear, and you just hear that scream of a goal. You go in and check, and you're, please don't be the one that I was meant to bet on.
Happened to us so many times, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kind of like the way we have split this out, because I mean, if only the Germany game came in, we're 90 quid out of our 100, and if only the Serie A game comes in, we're 80 quid out of our 100. So we're not massively down once one of them comes in, and if both of them come in, we're laughing. We're up to 170. Like.
Yeah. I told you I was reading. I think I brought it up on one of these streams before, and then was hustled out of town because if the bet's not good enough for your whole bank, then it's not good enough at all. That comment was thrown out. But I was reading
probably by me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'd be of that attitude myself. So,
but this fella, I don't know. One of those like Ukrainian names, and he's PhD in maths and stuff, but he's all into gambling, and he's this paper on the best way to stake your bets. So I read that, and I was full of like enthusiasm for a real scientific stake approach. And then we came on the air, and it was like, it's not good enough for 100%. It's not good enough at all. Like, all right, forget it. We move on. I feel like even splitting our stake is at least a good step towards it.
You never gave us that context though, Elby. We didn't know it was a Ukrainian genius.
Yeah, in fairness, it actually kind of went beyond my mathematical understanding. I didn't even get to finish it. I just skipped to the conclusion.
He scored.
Nearly. I'm going to flick on the Serie A match here.
Yeah, throw on Fiorentina.
This match has the potential to light up, but it's definitely just like it will be greater than the sum of its parts if it does, because the two of them are absolutely dire this season.
Fiorentina, Torino.
Yeah.
Not good.
It's probably nearly bang on a year ago. Maybe we're 2 weeks out.
2 weeks time.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking that. I think it's
Day in Torino.
Valentine's Day.
The missus saw a hotel for like a double room and 2 flights to Milan, and she thought
it's actually beautiful to see your faces. You both reminisce in your heads. The smile come across your lips.
That's not even the most gay romantic bedroom for two we had. And you go into a Serie A match. We had the Love Shack or whatever it was called down in Naples. The Love Room. It was definitely not designed for people in our position.
Casa Roberto. If anybody has ever gone to Naples, Casa Roberto, it was just a room in some guy's gaff, but it was right beside the stadium. And your man was like an ex-Napoli ultra who hadn't been to the stadium. Like, he lives literally in the shadow of the stadium, but he hadn't been into the stadium since they sold Maradona. He hadn't forgiven the club for selling Maradona. And he was like this big fat lad, like, like, I'm talking.
That's like, a bit harsh though, Gary. Come on.
I was.
No, he's a big fella.
So then he was like, he was like telling us all these places to go for dinner and stuff. We went to a pizza place. Man, it was unbelievable. Like
Napolitano pizza.
Proper. Like
that was some crack in that stadium. But my God, as an actual building, it's definitely the most structurally unsound building I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, I think for anybody watching, in the intro, we actually you're in a couple of the snaps there.
The ultras and stuff. Yeah.
So if anybody wants to rewind and watch the start again, you'll see the Napoli Stadium, now the Diego Maradona Stadium on show. And if you're ever going to a game in Napoli or Naples, check out Casa Roberto. He's a good man.
We were driving the car with the English reg, and everybody just eyeballing it. But there's an awful lot of fans around and police, and then we turned the corner and there was the stadium just there. It's like, oh my God. Remember the fella trying to help us park?
Yeah, and like we pulled into this place, and it was kind of like basically what it felt like was if you were pulling into like Ibrox with like a tricolour or vice versa, if you're pulling into Celtic Park with a Union Jack or whatever, people were just looking, going like, there's this English reg car pulling into this kind of supporters club right beside the stadium, and like none of them had a word of English. We've no Italian, so we're trying to talk in broken English, and then we get our booking out and showed them, and they were like, "Oh, Roberto!" So they rang your man, and then your man had to come out on the street to like bring us in, and he was just like, "What are you doing? You're going to get yourself killed!" Like, you know.
Remember, he had to move a car to get our car hidden from the street because he was like, "Can't leave that there all night."
But it was like midday, and the match wasn't kicking off till 8 o'clock, so we assumed everything would be all right. But like the amount of riot police and stuff around at that time, like it was different level. Us just driving around in a fucking clapped out Honda Civic. Like,
do you remember when we went down to the entrance part and there was that little cafe?
Yeah.
And like, so you're not allowed to sell beer or any alcohol at your UEFA games. So we went down to this little hut, and there was like there was lads getting beer and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'll go in and try and speak in my pidgin Spanish Italian, try and order a couple of beers. And I went in then, and when I did it, that's when the riot police turned up, and this like Capitano fella with about 1 million badges on his shirt walked in beside me. And I got to the front of the queue. He's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, two coffee. I didn't know what to say. And then your man just looked at me and smiled. And then he said to the waitress, he was like, oh, but I presume he said in Italian was give him a couple of beers. So they all started laughing at me and dished out the beers. We stuck out the side door. Like a 15-year-old sitting on my beer.
They had to dish it out in the Pepsi cups, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
So we were sitting outside, like it looked like we were drinking Pepsi, but it was beer in it because they didn't want any other fans to see. But again, because we'd gone to the stadium, like to our hotel or like residence or whatever so early, and it was beside it. Basically, a cordon got put around outside on all the streets, so we weren't allowed to leave that area because they were trying to keep all the Italians in and then escort all the English in. But like we'd already broken the cordon, so they didn't know what to do with us. They were just like, "All right, you sit there and mind yourselves." Like,
you two idiots, just stay over here and keep yourselves quiet. Yeah,
great crack, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Although it's some hard stadium to see the action from as well. Remember, it was a free kick. I think Lacazette scored it, and we were kind of like looking, trying, and then you hear the crowd cheer, and you're like, "Oh, you must have scored." And then impossible to see.
Did you get much nightlife in down in Naples? No.
Like I mean, it was so heavily guarded that, and you were kind of warned again. You're warned against not even getting like a train or a bus, like that way.
Really, yeah.
Took it very serious.
Yeah, like Napoli fans would see, like a lot of Italian fans would see English fans kind of in the old ultra era, so they'd be kind of keyed up for a bit of trouble. And then they come across a lot of middle-class Arsenal fans, and definitely wasn't what they were expecting. So we were just kind of told in no uncertain terms, just stay away from them.
And I think some of them kind of have old firm like relationships. I'm talking not like old firm in terms of Celtic Rangers, but like the firms from like the old like the 80s and 90s for like all the English teams would have had kind of a partnership with the Italian, because I know West Ham and Lazio fans love each other. So then I assume that like Roma fans hate West Ham, like. So like, you know, but if you didn't know any of that, like, you know, like, because the West Ham firm was called the ICF, wasn't it, the intercity firm? So if you didn't know that and you were just walking around the wrong part of town, you'd get yourself killed, like.
Toxic.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I was actually only looking there like about like to see like if Napoli as a club have any like close connections, right? And they came up just that. Actually, the list that I saw was like Athletic Bilbao, Southampton apparently have some connection, and then Juventus and Notts County. All right, fair enough.
Who was putting those things? Like Napoli fans and Juventus fans do not get on at all.
No, Notts County.
Oh, Juventus and Notts County.
Yeah, it said it actually said Napoli and Genoa for a long time, 40 years or something, and then they had a falling out apparently.
I think that was one of the ones that they all see. A load of people from the south would have moved up to the north for work. And they would have kind of re-affiliated with northern teams, I suppose. So all that stuff is mad.
It is mad. Like that's what with the mighty Lechia Gdansk as well, when they were like their big thing is Wrocław, and like their best pals. So like obviously when this in the Polish games, as you know well, being the rest you know as well, like, but there's obviously loads of police and stuff, but when they play them, like, it's genuinely a love in everyone in together.
That's actually good. Who did we see Warsaw playing, Lee? Who was that against? Still the coldest I've ever been in my life.
I actually look like remember the photograph? I hope it never surfaces again. I look like death.
We'll have it up for our viewers next week anyway.
Like, yeah, it was freezing, but it was great.
Yeah. Can't remember who that was.
I'm starting. I know there's a long way left. There's like still kind of 12 or 13 minutes, but I'm losing hope in this game because there's been a little bit of a flurry, but a lot of shy football being played, and like it's kind of the ball has been up in the air more times here than in the All-Ireland final, I'd say. Like,
yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, we have it in our Friday treble as well. We don't need a first half go up treble, and it's up on our sports rundown website. if anyone wanted to check it out. We post one there, usually on the Thursday or certainly before the show, to give people a bit of time to actually get on it in case sometimes it might be kicking off before we end up going live.
Yeah.
So it's a treble of the games
So
we're
we've gone for a goal
really.
fest today, haven't we, lads?
Well, that's what we're hoping for. It was Stuttgart, Mainz, both teams to score. Torino, Fiorentina, both teams to score, and Reading, Bournemouth, both teams to score. So we got combined odds in that treble of 4-1, and we were pretty happy with that. If you get on it now, you're actually getting it at about 9-1. Now
that's a nice increase considering that's presumably all coming from the Stuttgart game, is it?
Yeah, pretty much. It was like 1-2, and it's gone to 6-5. So yeah, that's the big swing. The Reading game is only just after kicking off, and the Torino game 15 minutes in hasn't moved a whole lot either. So it's pretty much just the German game. But yeah, I think that's a good price for this. I mean, we need 6 goals, but there's plenty of time. Like so,
when you put it like that, actually,
that's the thing when you count goals. When you sometimes I'll do like a win and both teams to score treble, and you realise that it's like a minimum of 9 goals. Like, they're off elsewhere.
Well, like when you actually think your bet's true, LB, in the reality of what you're backing this home kind of thing. Like not you personally, but one.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a few, especially last season before the bookies kind of copped on to what was going on in the Serie A. You were getting huge prices on like Lazio and both teams to score, Atalanta and both teams to score. Probably both of them underrated by the bookies, and generally goals in that league weren't priced in. But now you look at Lazio will be 8-15, or maybe 7-10. I think they're this weekend, but that's because they're playing Atalanta are 7-10 against Lazio. Like those prices are kind of crap. So you think, I'll add in both teams to score to get a bit of juice. But then when you actually think about it, you're getting it's still a crap price. Just like 7-2 seems an awful lot better, so you lump on. But the Serie A prices are just completely gone this season.
Like everything, right? We haven't really delved into that ever, but we keep coming up on the group of examples of when we're determined to delve into it at some stage. But
we've touched on it a few times. Like the bookies definitely have a captive audience. It seems, or they seem to all be thinking along the same lines that they don't need to actually treat the punters hugely well. So
put the price up of their product.
Yeah, exactly. Which
but
price down.
Some of it is like, they know that people are going to back at the crap prices anyway. And then, like I put up on Twitter there last week around the NFL with their special. Like they had a bet builder in there for the two defenses to score and priced up at 25-1. But then if you actually went into your bet builder and did it yourself, you were getting 50-1. So they just half the price,
That is disgraceful. That's
the thing. You're definitely like there's a convenience element that they shaft you on. So if you take the slightly convenient, but like 25 to 49s is an absolute disgrace. Like someone is laughing in the office going, I can't believe we got 17 mugs to back this at the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Just because they don't have the fucking wherewithal to actually break it down themselves. Like,
yeah.
But like things like that. I don't know whether I've been saying it for a few years that I hope it comes back to bite and a bit of competition comes in. But if anything, there's less competition coming in now. So I don't know whether if these new regulations, especially in England, come in. I don't know whether you've seen those about affordability checks and things like that. So
I have no problem. I don't want them clamping down on the industry because it definitely does harm people in our position. But what do they call them? Yeah, like affordability is the phrase you use. That's absolutely fine. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're earning, I don't know, make up a number. If you're getting 100 quid a week, you shouldn't be putting 55 of that into Betfair. So they're not a bad one to bring in.
Yeah, but if it, and again, not to generalize, because there's probably some lads that are on low incomes or whatever that are making money, or there definitely is. But a lot of the people that would be absolute puntaholics are in that lower earner category. So
us included.
So I think that if the bookies again, we don't go in and play the bingo and things like that, so if that's all taken away, potentially the bookies have to go back to being actual bookmakers again.
How does the affordability thing work? I'm not actually.
It's not nailed down yet, but they're just
it's not nailed down. So
they're trying to align it to your income.
Exactly. I don't know what the number would be, but if you earn 10 grand, you can only play with $2,000 or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And you have to show pay slips or something like that to prove that you're able to bet as much as you're trying to.
Right.
I don't know whether they would be able to actually legally bring it in, because surely your pay slip or whatever is your data, and go on, score here. Score! Oh my God, how are they going to score?
And of course, they don't want to bring that in, right?
No, they'll bring
the
in.
Bookies don't know. Yeah.
Do you ever use, like we've talked about it during the week with all the stuff that's going on about those online trading places? All of them, or most of them, you have to put in how much you earn. You have to read these terms and stuff, and they just make it a deal to set up an account. So you just have to log in and say, listen, I earn £300 million a year, and then that's why I'm betting as much as I'm betting. And if you just sign a declaration, that's what they're going to end up doing, But yeah, sure, what can you do?
And what is that? So that's actually I only saw that during the week, but that's actually used in some way to satisfy a regulatory requirement to understand your customer, to give them a benchmark for how much you're putting on there.
In the trading stuff, it is, yeah.
Right, and so
because people, I think, a lot of the stuff, and we talked about it recently, is it's marketed as a way to make money. So if you're kind of by definition, you're targeting the people who need to make money. So to kind of soften that up, you need to make all these declarations. But I don't think they have any way of checking, and I don't think they do check. And I think if someone lies, there's no repercussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'll bring it in, but the bookmakers have gone on the offensive there with the marketing campaign, because they're basically saying, well, we have limits. Like, you can go into any bookmaker with their salt and say, oh, I only want to be able to bet 200 quid a week, and then if you try and bet it over, you're not able to do it. So that's why if you see all the ads on TV now, they're bigger on responsible gambling, and it's probably fair, as I said, but in terms of the competition side of things, if they were limited on that income side, they might need to kind of put better offers out there and take a little bit more chances with their prices.
Yeah, it's too easy. There's too much money, and there is that pushback, right? People are starting to say, there's so much fucking betting sponsorship in football, right? That they're almost shooting themselves in the foot these days by being too public, right? I think anyway.
It's getting ridiculous.
It's getting ridiculous.
I don't know
it's drawing a lot of attention.
What percentage of lads have betting accounts? It must be fairly high. Like, they must be close to maximum market saturation. I don't know why they're advertising so much. Just let people. Yeah. Anyway, we lost a few viewers there while we were slagging off our bookmakers, so we might park that conversation for the next little while. Stuttgart game has gone a bit slow, has it?
It's been slow for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible game.
Yeah.
Feels like as soon as the money
Stuttgart had 2 half chances, and that's about it. Anything like really, really clear cut. The keeper made a good save, but it was actually across into the box, and it hit his own defender, deflected it, and it was going in. He saved it. But outside of that, there hasn't really been anything to write home about. Still 4 minutes left, so hopefully, I'd say that's 4 minutes plus added, or including added time.
And even that chance was one of them, like, everyone's running towards the goal, your man's whipping the ball in along the ground 3 yards out from the goal, the defender just has to stick his foot at it, right? Doesn't know where the fuck it's going. He hits the keeper in the chest from a yard.
You just need those little breaks, though, don't you? Just a little bounce.
Goes
special off the back of the left ankle and just somehow goes in.
Yeah,
that's it. It just opens the whole game up. But it's actually mad if you look like across the board. There's so many 0-0s about. Like, there's like 0-0 in Reading. There's 1 goal in the League 2 game, but then the Spanish game 0-0. The 2 Italian games 0-0. The French game 0-0. So there isn't many goals about at all tonight. Like, hopefully that changes pretty soon. But
so our Serie A bet is first half goal as well, is it?
Yeah, first half as well. Yeah.
I did say, Slats, that if I was putting on a bet, I'd go for cards instead. And I think there's definitely been 2. Like, there could have been 3 yellow cards in the first half here. Like,
there's been 3.
Fouling each other constantly. Like,
yeah. What can you back first half cards? I presume you can.
Well, you can do. I don't know whether you can back first half, but you can back
overall.
the over. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we could do a touch of magic here in the next 2 minutes.
Jesus, we can do a shot on target this stage. Fucking hell.
As soon as this blows up at halftime, I'm gonna flick over for our viewer to the Serie A game, and hopefully we get a little.
How's that looking?
Yeah.
Is that on the TV there, or?
Yeah.
I don't know why you're inflicting this punishment on the people watching the stream.
Walking around the fucking centre
I don't know if I have to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. You've made your bed. God, the Serie A game is not a huge amount better. A little bit more potential, maybe, based on what you're describing the Stuttgart game, but not a game that you'd be looking at thinking, I'm very happy I've got my money on this.
Okay. I have to say, just to have a little tangent for a second, my new TV connection is fantastic. After the early setup, yeah, fantastic. I can't believe I didn't do it before.
Yeah. Are you still using the one, Gary, the entirely legitimate thing that we got before?
No, I've used it. I'd say in total, if I've used it 6 times, 7 times, that'd be the maximum. Sure, I have all the sports channels anyway, so I just use it for very emergency situations.
What is it? A little side connection, is it?
Fire stick.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
I wonder, do Amazon know the amount of people around the world that are using their Fire Sticks to stream sports? Because every single person I know who has a Fire Stick is using it for that reason.
For reading books, yeah.
Lee, have a look at what just happened there in the Stuttgart game. So,
I just flicked over to Fiorentina.
All right. So the ball comes into the box, and the keeper has thrown the ball into the net, but it's given as a free out. I don't think it's a free out, but keeper throws the ball against his defender.
Oh my God!
Off the foot and in. It's not a free out. Like, we should have had one of the most comical goals ever as being our goal.
Like, oh my God!
The
ref booked him now. Like,
that's 4 yards in the first half of that game.
Criminal.
Yeah.
That's sick. All right, it's half time there now, is it?
Yeah, like it's taking over there now.
Yeah,
so.
Half time. So we're going over to Italy for our.
Italy, the game is back in action. So how is that game looking, LB?
Not great. A little bit better, a little bit livelier, but not. There's nothing in it that's making me think, thank God I've backed goals in this match. And probably if we weren't on it yet, I probably wouldn't be jumping on.
Is there a goal at all anyway?
Scunthorpe, the only place to score, I think.
Personally, I stuck a little bet on the Serie B, and it's 70 minutes in, and there has been 0 shots on target. So, looking good.
It's the second half or last now in Europe tonight.
You know what?
That's
I think
it,
I'd actually probably chase my losses and lump on goals in the second half at this stage, just because.
It's gone off my screen now, right? But I'm fairly sure they flicked up the expected goals on this game in Germany, and it came up as 0.02, which is like the lowest I've ever seen. Like,
how can you have that? Like, how is that even a number that they get to?
But I actually think there hasn't been a proper shot on target, because, like, the one shot that was on target where the keeper had to make a save was the defender kicking it into his own keeper's hands. So, like, it's just been 40 minutes of play with, like, no chances whatsoever. Like,
the Fiorentina one went suspended there for a second, but nothing happening either.
It's suspended on Bet365, but it's not looking like.
No, it's back now on the exchange anyway.
Yeah. Did you see what it was that created this suspension?
No, I just flicked over to the digital version to set it up for the viewers, and came back, then there was just people throwing their hands in the air. But in the Serie A, that could mean absolutely anything. So.
Yeah, it's not suspended on Bet365 anymore anyway.
Oh, yeah, it's been back a bit on this one, so I'm watching it live now anyway, so there's nothing happening again.
No.
Was it half an hour? Yeah, Torino taking a bit of shape here, so it's a little bit more, one-sided than it was earlier, but yeah, still not really any goal-mouth action whatsoever.
Fantastic.
Yeah. What
Just
about
what you want for a live stream BETALON?
Yeah. I'm seeing the replay here of what it was. Fella headed the ball over the keeper, and the keeper clocked him in the face. Outside the box, it would have 100% been a free kick, but not given as a penalty.
Right, yeah.
It's worth, if anyone hasn't seen the Fiorentina goalkeeper in a while, it's worth looking him up. Looks like a Viking. And something like someone trying to look like a Viking as well. Beard down to about his navel. Good break here now for Fiorentina.
Yeah, very little at all going on.
I feel like I'm reloading into the Reading game now, to be honest.
For what? For a first half goal?
Yeah.
For anything.
But I don't know whether that's the
Jeez.
beer and the lack of action talking, or whether it's a sensible approach.
Bit about
No,
it,
I
but
did
there's
say it
nothing wrong with
before.
either of the reasons, Gary. Guys, no. Come here, the Viking in goal for the Fiorentina. It's a fine old beard that he has on him there.
That should be. You're halfway there now. You should continue to grow that stubble out and see. And they'll give you 2 months.
It gets cut every 7 to 10 days, like a well-oiled machine.
Well, don't. We'll buy you some beard oil and we'll let you grow it out and see how close you can get to the Fiorentina keeper.
I'll grow the right tash back, Lee, if you go for the big beard.
I would. I don't know why you cut the tash off, because you're like the only fucking person who it suits, to be quite honest with you. I don't know why, but it just looked natural.
You couldn't get through airport customs because they thought he was a Mexican drug lord.
Got a lot of stares, didn't I? Yeah, I might bring it back now. That
did you used to get did you used to get a few stares, or was it just people like took it in and accepted it?
Oh, definitely used to get a few stares. Yeah, I think the fact that it was so ginger as well. I don't think there's that many people stick with the mustache if it goes that red.
They don't shave it.
Yeah, when they see it goes red, they just get rid of it or dye it. I think it just looked like a red thing on the side of on the front of my face. So a lot of looks, funny looks.
Yeah.
But I kind of miss it now that it's gone.
I mean, I would. The little tickler.
So you're doing it, Lee, anyway. Come on. For a bit of crack.
I mean, what's involved, like?
Just grow out your beard. Take a picture of your man and we'll do a weekly update and have it on screen.
You're talking a year, man. You're talking a year and a half for that sort of growth.
That's a big commitment.
Well, do the lads, like, come on.
Like, no, I can't do it. We need to be semi-clean. We need to be clean cut a little bit.
Man, not anymore.
Not anymore. It's just in that hovel of an apartment of mine. I'm not seeing the outside world. It's all right.
If anybody says it, and just say it's your religion, you'd be grand.
Why not? 6 wives. So.
No, I've never seen someone move along faster from their own comment than that. This Fiorentina match is absolutely so unenjoyable to watch.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Like I have live score open here. From the first 6 games, there's 1 goal, and it's Gunthor.
Thing is, you get good odds on over 1.5 in all these second halves.
Yeah, I was thinking that. There's a few others we could throw in. There's the Dutch 2, which is generally good for second half goals.
Yeah.
Braga are playing in the Portuguese Cup. There seems to have been plenty of chances in the first half there. They're up 1-0, but there'll be another couple of goals there.
You know what they say about chasing your losses? Do it.
Do it. Double down.
It's the only way to win back your original money.
Yes. You should just be depressed anyway, like, you know. Might as well be ultra depressed.
Well, I'm more thinking of just like firing on a 10 or on a, either you win your original stake back or you're down 110 instead of 100. It's not really changing your life. Like.
Yeah.
It's not really changing.
No, the one that's won too many, lads.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're talking about life changing money, I mean, we could up it from a tenner, right?
I have thought about that, like how, you see these stories of people putting in absolutely desperate bets, like how far down the slippery slope do you need to go before you start thinking, right, the rent this month is going on 3-to-1 shot to just cover it.
I wouldn't say that far now. I hope I never get there, but I wouldn't say that far.
Gary, I was asking you for your personal experience, to be quite honest.
Reading went up 1-0 anyway.
Yeah. So the closest I wasn't on it, flat, so that was about, there was no yelp out of me.
It was over evens for a first half goal.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was thinking of 10 on that.
And like if that game had been the 7:45 kickoff, we definitely would have been on it. That way it's just because it was starting late and we wanted something to cheer on the first few minutes.
Were you saying something before, Abby, that the 7:45 game seems to always kill us?
Yeah, no, it was a 7:30. I was saying always.
7:30.
Actually, that was the German game.
Yeah. German game, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should just nip it in the bud. There is such a buzz to get on it early, but I think the fact that none of us really watched the Bundesliga doesn't help. But
no, I'd say that doesn't help. All right.
Yeah, so I think we should be leaving it. Although, in fairness, if we didn't have that, we'd probably have all 100 on this Torino thing. And
but we didn't even consider Reading Bournemouth. Why was that?
Starting later.
Well, we did at the start, but it was an 8 o'clock kickoff, so we shelved it.
We were hoping to get on that with all of our winnings.
Yeah.
Something that we've said though, Slats, I think we were talking a couple of weeks back. Is it worth varying the bets as well? I know for the viewers, a goal is a good one to cheer on, but race to corners, race to cards, those race. Yeah,
the race ones are good because again they can get wrapped up pretty quickly.
Definitely. And it just varies it a bit as well because, like we said, if we fancy goals in the 8 o'clock kickoffs, we don't want to wait till late necessarily, but we don't want to just lump on these games that we're not really believing in anyway.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Oh God, nearly 40 minutes gone here now. There's absolutely nothing happening.
I was just looking there. I'll be like the two games that have are closest to half time. So the Stuttgart game and the Fiorentina game. They both even money for over 1.5 in the whole game.
Are they? Torino just hit the crossbar. Oh God, it's worth watching the replay of this. Lovely. Oh, absolutely flat. Oh, that would have been a beauty if you got it.
You love hitting hitting the crossbar is fantastic. Really better than scoring.
It was one of those ones as well that he kind of hit it sideways. Would have been. I was like he was trying to hit the crossbar, the bastard. Probably backed under a 0.5 first half goals himself, the dog.
I just done an in-running bet there anyway. So I've gone Serie A, Serie B, the Torino and Vicenza game. The Stuttgart game, 3 of those over 1.5, and then over 2.5 in the Colchester Scunthorpe game. So I'm going for a goal-orama second half.
I'm going to join you on that. So 1.5 in the Italy.
1.5 in both Italy games and the Germany game, and then 2.5 in the League 2 game.
The only thing with this bloody German game now is by the sounds of that first half, is there any reason?
I'm just going on. It can't be as bad.
What's the odds on that, Gary?
There is no way. So over 1.5, or in the whole thing, is 18-1.
Nice.
So yeah, grand for a bit of entertainment. But it can't be. They should just have to retire or not be professional clubs anymore. It was so bad. So we're going for a polar opposite second half.
This Serie A one is heating up now nicely, just in time for half time. So
we could do it a sneaky one just before half time. It doesn't matter when it comes.
Yeah, 5 minutes left. It's still. You know what? I actually still have a bit of faith in one. What's the first half goal actually priced up as? Let's see. Must be fairly high prices. First half, 9-2. That's was pretty crap for 5 minutes worth of.
So Gary, you have 2 more goals in the Colchester game, is it?
2 more goals in the Colchester game, yeah.
Right. I'm going to throw in 2 more in the Reading game as well onto that. Yeah. Getting 38th one.
Snake, if yours comes in, then I'll be, well, I suppose I'll be happy because mine will have come in, but I'll be like, why didn't I go for the green?
Yeah, but imagine how sick I'll feel now if they all come in except the Reading game. Pure greed.
Yeah. The sheriff
it's so hard.
himself.
No.
No, but Bournemouth are a good side, so like I expect them to score, and they've got like, again, the article on Sports Rundown, I think we put in there, you know, like the amount of goals they've scored this season and stuff. So I'm fairly certain they'll score. So you only really need someone to get a winner then, like, you know, that way.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sports Rundown,
Colchester game is suspended, by the way, so you might be off to a flyer there.
Come back to that. It's not suspended on my end.
No, me neither. Gary, I think you were going to mention your Saturday act on the Sports Rundown website that you posted, is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know whether you want to run through it now or whatever, but there's more just to highlight to everybody watching that we do have a website as well, and it's constantly updated with information. So throughout the week, you'll see articles on there around whatever matches are taking place and what our picks are. So at the minute, there's an article tomorrow for my weekend ACA, which I'm fairly sweet on, to be honest. So I don't know, do we want to run through it now or do you want to save it later?
Maybe we'll wait till the Torino game wraps up just in case. Is there anything going on there, Abby? You said
it's still Torino having good chances, but without actually doing a huge amount of goal amount. They're playing well, they're getting near the box, and then they're not really giving themselves clear-cut scoring chances. But to be honest, at this stage, there 3 minutes left in the half, so 2 minutes left.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I don't know, Gary, if you want to plow ahead, like there's going to be, soccer constantly going because that Colchester game is into the second half now and the Germany game will be kicking off again before long. And the Reading game.
Yeah, so I suppose the bet's an ACA of Wolves, Norwich, Newport to win, and then over 2.5 goals in the Charlton and Portsmouth game. So Wolves are playing Palace, and Wolves haven't been in great form, but Palace have been in dire form, and they were like beaten off the park in midweek against West Ham. So I fancy Wolves. Like Wolves had a good defensive performance. They had no possession in the game, or 21% possession in the game, I think it was. But they hung in there. And again, a few players back from injury and stuff. So I can see Wolves winning it, and they're 13-8. I think they should be closer to evens or maybe even odds on. So I thought that was a bit of value. And Norwich are top of the table against Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough they've had some decent results, but they've also the last couple of games have been fairly bad. They've 3 defeats from the last 5, so they're up and down. There's no real consistency. I just think Norwich at home will beat them. As I look here, Reading have just gone 2-0 up against Bournemouth, lads.
Yeah, so my bet didn't actually get placed. So
no way. Then the next one on the ACA is the Charlton Portsmouth game over 2.5. So again, people are probably sick of me harping on about Charlton and their goals. But games involved in Charlton this season average 2.8 goals. Portsmouth score a lot as well. The last 2 games have been 4-0 victories. So I just think that 21-20 for over 2.5 goals is a big price. When I looked at the stats first and then I went into the odds and I was expecting it to be 8-13 or something like that. And when I saw 21-20, I was like, well, I have to include that. And then the last leg of it is Newport County to beat Harrogate. So
we could have a penalty here to.
Oh, come on!
Is he giving it? No. Oh no, half time.
that is what penalty shout to half time and so such quick.
Yeah, it's just like cut.
Well, that was too good. I'm glad we split the pot across the two of those.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. We got an extra 10 minutes out of it.
That's true. Anyway, Gary, sorry to interrupt you with that false news.
We all wanted to know it was halftime in Torino anyway. So no, the last leg of the ACA is Harrogate against Newport, and Newport to win. When Newport started the season really well, they were top of the league for a while. Kind of dipped a little bit, but now we're back on form. Harrogate, I think, have only won once at home this season, so they'll be handy. So they're 13-8. So overall the ACA is 24-1. So I said I think they're all really good bets. My best bet out of them would probably be Newport County, but I fancy them all, to be honest.
Nice. Probably going to do that now myself. I back most of the bets that we put up on the side anyway. So
yeah, I base it on your confidence when you're talking through your bets, and Gary have an air of confidence about him for that one, so I think I'll be getting on that all right.
Yeah, I'm actually sick about my midweek because I was confident midweek as well. I had West Ham. I had who were Newcastle playing away, or Leeds, I think it was, and then there was another away team in there, and or Watford. So Watford, they just had so many chances in the game away to Millwall, and it ended up finishing 0-0. So I was sick that they let me down in that treble, because again that was like a 20-1 treble or something like that off the 3 away side. So I was confident of that, and I'm confident of this. So I'm hoping that this one makes up for the midweek disappointment.
Yeah. So
what did the other 2 games finish in that, Gary? They both came in, obviously, but
so West Ham won 3-2, but they conceded in the last minute, so they actually went 1-0 down.
Okay, so it was in the bag.
Yeah, and then I think it was 2-1 for Newcastle, or sorry, for Leeds against Newcastle. So 2 or 3-1, it could have been 3-1. So,
looking at the best tomorrow, right? What would you say AC Milan are away to Bologna tomorrow in the early game?
But we still can't figure out why they weren't better odds against Atalanta the last day, and they lost. So.
Yeah, well, they had those guys suspended, remember, and they actually did miss them badly in the field. So, there's been a goal in Spain as well. Do we have anything there?
No,
didn't include that. Sure. They're nearly even money, like 17-20 or close to it. Seems like an odd one. It's going to be my main bet tomorrow anyway. I'm going to underpin everything with that. I think they had a good, they had that last minute loss to Inter during the week, and they'll be fired up. So I think they, like Bologna, aren't great. So yeah, just thought you might. I'm surprised it was that high and higher price.
No, it does seem high, so yeah, it'd be something.
Well, that's the early kickoff as well tomorrow.
The only thing about putting the early kickoff in your ACAs is it can just let you down, and you're reloading at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's never good.
Oh, sorry, it's the early one. It's at 2 o'clock our time.
It's 2 o'clock. Is it all right?
The earliest. It's the Sunday. You get the 11:30.
Oh yeah, the Sunday's at 11:30.
They're a killer. Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm looking at them here. Bologna have gone to the worst home form, but at a glance, it looks like the games they're winning are against, pretty weak opposition. They're not beating any of the heavyweights. They've only lost one. They had a 2-2 draw against Atalanta recently. They lost then 5-1 at home to Roma. So, they do seem to. Napoli beat them. Juve beat them. So they do seem to be losing at home to the bigger sides. Even money does definitely seem a good shot there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one, if they're 17-20 now, they'll probably be even money after 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. So could be one worth watching and then lumping on them when they drift a bit.
Yeah, but sometimes getting greedy can come back to bite you as well. Like that, 17 to 20 is a decent price on them. Like, you know.
Yeah, true. Anyone watching Stuttgart in the second half? Probably lost
Yeah.
interest in it now.
No, I'm not watching it here. Again, like it's been a little bit hoofball, but the keeper's just gone down injured for I think it's Stuttgart. The keeper gone down injured. So yeah, nothing really to write home about at the minute.
While we're waiting on that, or while there's a bit of a lull in the matches, 3 of the 4 of us here are in the 5 scorers. What do you make of the pot? I'm astounded that the pot is so big.
It's insane, yeah. So just to give anyone watching the gist of the competition, there's I think there's maybe 45 people in it every week. We all throw in a fiver into the pot every week. You pick 5 players to score a goal. Over the weekend, the Premiership football, you can pick, you know, Salah or whatever could score twice. You could put him down for 2, and if he scores twice, they'll both count as 2 of your 5. And if you get all 5 of your picks right, you win the pot. And what's it been now? 11 weeks or 12 weeks or something?
Well, it's 3,000 and something. So yeah, I think it's 11 or 12 weeks. It's a €3,100 pot between 45, so whatever that works out at.
Yeah, like it's.
But like we did it last week. Now it didn't. It was the Liverpool game was the only one that hadn't happened. But after 9 of the 10 matches had played, we had an 80% miss and 20% hit of the 45 lads. So there'd been 150 players had played that we had picked, and I think like 28 of them or something had scored. It was absolutely awful. We're so bad at it at the minute. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, like, sorry, go ahead, Saz.
I was going to say it's strange. It's not like, I mean, after a weekend of it, you can reflect on it and go, well, I could have gone with him, and him. Like, It's not like it's all these obscure players scoring. It's just, you know, the kind of maybe the top 2 or 3 most likely that a huge bunch of people go for don't seem to be scoring.
Like when I was watching the Liverpool Spurs match last night, and it got to half time, and nearly half time, the commentator said, "This is now coming in on 8 hours of Premier League football, and Liverpool haven't scored." So that was a huge part of what was going on. Like Vardy's form is terrible. You know, Aubameyang, like still a fifth of the people were putting Aubameyang in, even though he wasn't scoring. You know, all the new recruits at Chelsea weren't scoring, but people kept picking them. You know, in fairness, Gary, you tend to be a little bit more exotic in your fancies. You kind of go, you know,
yeah,
attacking midfielders and the like. But you know, if Timo Werner doesn't score, that's half the people out. You know,
I was actually a bit annoyed during the week because I was between Souček and Antonio, and I went with Antonio. And Antonio missed like 4 glorious. He hit the post twice, like missed 4 glorious opportunities. And then Souček scored twice. And then with Man City, I was between putting Gundogan.
Oh, sorry, Stuttgart have scored.
Yeah, I saw Stuttgart scored. Yeah, I just didn't know if
my screen yet. No, I hasn't come up my screen yet. But yeah, no, I forget who else it was, but I was going to put Gundogan in, and I didn't put Gundogan in. I put someone else in, and then Gundogan ended up scoring 2. So, like, my thinking was right, but my picking was just wrong. So I'm hoping actually a decent goal. Yeah, so I'm hoping now tomorrow that I'll be able to iron it out. But there's some tough games, and just back to what you were saying as well. Like, it doesn't help with City with Jesus. Like, Jesus has been on the bench recently, and Aguero has been out injured. So you have to kind of choose who, like, which attacking midfielder between like Foden, Sterling, Gundogan, fucking Mahrez. You know, like there's so many of them that can score. It's just a lucky dip, like, you know.
I tend to avoid City myself. I go for Sterling. If he doesn't get much game time or doesn't score the week before, I'll put Sterling in, and otherwise I leave City out because there's none of the rest of them you can be sure are even going to play. Never mind be there. Fake whatever in the box, like, so.
Yeah.
It's 3-0 rating, by the way, so that leg is
that bit's in. Yeah, but see on our treble, we've got both teams to score. I thought Bournemouth would be guaranteed to score, like, so.
You'd be hoping they don't pack it in now at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so fingers crossed they can pull the finger out. The only thing is there's still 45 minutes to go, so.
Yeah, so much time.
Plenty of time. Yeah. not bad at all.
Stuttgart up as part of that treble. I mean, we're still only, a third of the way there, but it's definitely looking a bit better than it was.
Yeah, if you had did that Aki you were talking about, that's the one that you missed getting on, the 38-1 one. Like, you would have had that leg in, the goal in Stuttgart.
That leg, yeah. Well, no, I got on the other 4 after it. I just missed that goal. I got on the other 4 at 29-1. So,
you're still on. All right. What did you do? You stuck with 2.5 in the Reading game, but just with the extra goal having gone in?
No, I took it out because it had gone to 1-10, and it was just like, did you ever feel that way about an accumulator? You don't want the 1-10 shot to be the one letting you down when 4 bets are around.
It's actually a really sensible thing to do. Like,
someone said it actually. It's like, it's like backing a horse at 13-8 when it was getting sent around as a 15-1 tip. And you're like, oh, now all the lads are on a 15.
I think that's something that people completely lose sight of. They hear this tip about a horse, but by the time the tip is filtered down to them, the person who was given the tip was saying it because they were backing it like 20-1, and then the person who gets the tip goes into bookies and it's 3-1, and it's the person who got it at 20-1 was going, this horse should probably be about 3-1. It's great value, but then the person backing it at 3-1 is just getting the correct price on it, and they're not actually getting any value.
Or even with a bit of momentum reduction in the price,
Yeah, exactly that too. The person tipping it could be like, this horse should be 5-1, and the next thing it's gone into evens, and you're the mug there backing it going, I heard a tip about this fella. Like,
we're in a group with like probably 50 lads that send on tips all day, every day, and you'll get some of them to be forwarded on. And you'll click on it and you'll see the price, bet 365, whatever, after his price movement during the day. You're like, there's no way I'm going near this horse now at the absolute bottom rung here. But it's like that. The accumulator is just the same. It's not worth it. At what time did that Stuttgart goal go in? I mean, 10 minutes into the second half. We're a bit unlucky with that.
Yeah, it's often the case. If the goal comes early. Now, I wouldn't have been expecting it that much in that game, given the first half was so dire. But you often have games where there's like shots and chances at either end, and you're looking for that first half goal, and it doesn't come. And then as soon as the second half kicks off, someone goes down and scores.
Yeah. I'm going to step away there for a second. Excuse me.
I think Stuttgart will kind of win this easily now, because they, even though no team was really on top in the first half, they had the most creativity, or looked like creating the most. And now they've gone 1-0 up, they're just dominating. So can't see Mainz coming back into it. But I could do with another goal to get that 1.5 in. And then the Colchester games that could be one that kills us. The 2.5 there.
Yeah, we're just against the clock on that one now. But like, I'm just looking at the stats. I mean, there's been 16 shots with 7 on target. There's plenty of action there. You'd just be hoping for that. Probably you'd be hoping for that to go 1-1, and then either side could push for a winner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That goes 2-0 Scunthorpe. You'd be worried that both teams will just, Colchester give up on it. Scunthorpe sit back on their lead, and that's the end of it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. You're probably right. I think we need a goal in the next kind of 10 minutes in that anyway. Just to,
I think so.
Goal there that gives you 20 minutes left to get the last one. Like, those leagues, there's always late goals,
Yeah, I was looking at the Dutch games there as well. They're both half time and they're only 1-0 and 0-all. I mean, I'm tied up in this accumulator now, but they're that Dutch league as well. You often see second half goals coming there.
Yeah.
I might do a separate bet just on, it's about, what is it? Yeah, for 2 goals in each of those games, it's 4-6 and evens. So you're probably getting about 2 or 3-1.
Is this is the Topos, the Grashof, and the Nek Breda and Utrecht games?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the 2 games going on in the Erste Divisie at the moment. So yeah, they've just gone into half time, but there's plenty of shots on either end of the pitch.
And we say, like, we've been kind of monitoring that and saying that the second half does seem to have a lot more goals than the first half, haven't we?
It's livelier, but then in recent weeks there was, when we I kind of let it slide for a while, but there was a lot of first half goals in recent weeks. Not that there wasn't goals in the second half, but what we found is more like tonight, where across 2 games there's only 1 first half goal, and I'd say across those 2 games you could be confident there'll be 4 second half goals.
Yeah.
Maybe not 2 in each, but certainly I fancy it to be 4 goals between the 2 of them. Let's see if.
Sorry, I'm just I'm loading up a little cover bet here. Or you could call it a cover bet, or you could call it a real big chase, but
the desperation bet.
Yeah, fucking, I'm gonna do it. It's a Friday
night. Fucking do it.
So I have
the desperation bet. You mean on it?
The desperation bet is over 2.5 in the Graf Shaft and Top Os. So it's 1-0 at the minute. So 2 more goals there. Over 1.5 in the Neck Breda game. So it's 0-0 there. Over 1.5 in Fiorentina and over 1.5 in Vicenza. So it's 23-1 for.
You're all in on this Serie B game, aren't you?
Yeah.
Sure, you have to be.
You have to be.
They can't cheer on goals. What can you cheer, LB? Huh?
Fucking right.
Oh God.
Cue the end of goal.
Torino are skulking back into the cheer anyway. So.
What odds are you getting on that one, Gar?
23-1.
23-1, not bad.
What's that? Is that not hugely overlapping with the bet you did a minute ago? What's the difference?
Scunthorpe and Colchester are going to kill that, and there's no Dutch flair in that other one. So we've gone.
Scunthorpe. What's wrong with Scunthorpe? Is it nearly over?
Scunny.
It's like 20 minutes left. Need 2 goals. So.
Plenty of chances, but yeah, they're up against the clock now.
Oh yeah, no, we're 2.5, and that's what you're.
Yeah, 2 more needed. So yeah, you kind of need one of them to come pretty soon.
Yeah. Remember I said to you during the day, Slats, I'd like those 3 games for a draw. I forgot I threw a $5 on that. So it's 0-0, 0-0, and in the Spanish match, the away team are winning 1-0. So
Captain Aftertime coming in here now.
Yeah. So
we had said it before. What did you say? It was 25-1?
28.
To 1 for 3 draws, yeah.
So I can get €6 back off my $5. I'm nearly tempted to take it because it just seems so vulnerable, those bets.
Draws are just stress. Like you don't want any goal, and it goes 1-0, and you're just desperately cheering on the other team to get back into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great. It's annoying that the other match I actually consider saying. The other match I consider saying to you, Slats, for a goal in the first half was the Antwerp game in Belgium, and it was 2 first half goals. Annoying.
Yeah,
that last week. Waasland Beveren, yeah.
Yeah, you wanted to go for. Oh no, it was Anderlecht, wasn't it? Yeah, you wanted to go both teams to score, or we did go both teams to score.
We did, yeah.
I mean, they've had 1 shot and 1 on target, 1 goal. It's pretty good.
Ideal. Efficiency, that's all that is.
Efficient,
yeah.
Has anyone checked the stats in the Serie B game? Was there much going on there?
There was a lot of shots, but like I'll tell you now, there's 16 shots, but only 1 on target.
Right.
So with those sort of stats, it's hard to tell. Does that mean the strikers are just having an absolute nightmare of a night, or does it mean a goal is coming and they've just been real unlucky so far?
No, I think if you're saying 6 shots with 1 on target, you can kind of say, all right, maybe they're having a bad night with 16
with 1 on target. Now that's from both sides. So Vicenza have 10 shots with 1 on target, and Venezia have 6 with 1 on target.
I think it's just a bad night all round, to be honest.
Seems a bit of a low return, but again, I mean, they could be hitting those off the crossbar and off the post, and they're off target. But they're
imagine 1 shot on target, 9 shots off the crossbar, and we're sitting here like, that's terrible. These youths in Egypt couldn't get snow off a rope.
So this is it. There's only so much you can tell with the shot stats.
Go Fiorentina.
Oh, nice.
The suspended. So It's still suspended, so they could.
I was actually going to say there a second ago, I would definitely have backed Torino to win that match based on the first half. But nice. No, it looks the odds are back now on Betfair. I think that goal stands.
Yeah, I don't know. It's suspended. Yeah, I mean it's shown the replay.
Oh God, he did look offside though. Ooh, it's a lovely finish.
The look.
God, is it still suspended on your site, Slats?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that getting
offside. I haven't seen an offside view of it. Like,
I think he's offside. But the odds are back on Betfair.
On Betfair, the odds are back. Yeah, Jesus, back Torino now. If you thought they were going to win, back to now at 10-1.
Yeah, no, they're kicking off here. They've given it, I think.
Oh, it's back on Bet365 now as well. Yeah,
they're in play now.
That was back Torino at 10-1.
He looked offside to me. That's good for both teams to score now. He's gone to VAR. Oh, he's given it.
It's gone suspended again. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's gone suspended here.
But it's always good. Like, with a nice little run, he deserves the goal.
It's overruled. It's free out.
So if you had got on Torino at 10-1 there, do you reckon the bookies would have come along and said, no, that was a mistake?
Yeah.
Really?
They've been given incorrect information and they've adjusted their price. That's 100% in the rules. And I can kind of understand it. Like, I mean, I'd rarely side with them, but
I don't know whether they do it as much in like in play. They definitely do it. That goal's been disallowed.
Yeah, disallowed. Yeah. That's what we're saying.
Torino, you could back Torino at 10-1 there for a minute. What I'm asking is, would they have taken that bet back off you?
I don't know.
A few cases people would have taken it off you, to be honest. If it wins, like if Torino go on to win.
Yeah.
What's he missing a goal like that? Like he was definitely an inch or two offside, but like what's wrong with it? It was a great little run, nice little ball behind, right? The ref didn't see it. Fucking that's part of the game.
You reckon?
I know, but
I do and I don't. I do and I don't. I do more than I don't though. Like I just think.
So would you have said that
the game's fucked anyway? We know it is. Like for the amount of time
they get ball, get hurt and knocked out.
Yeah.
No, myself and yourself.
Would you agree with that,
myself and yourself had this argument before. I think it's different with offside because, like, the intent of the law is that you don't have people hatching in the box. You know that way.
Yeah.
It's not that someone's big toe is offside.
Exactly.
So,
which is
like, and I know you wouldn't be able to police it as much, but I think that the daylight rule that used to be there, and I know you'd have inconsistencies and stuff, so I'm not saying that they should bring it in, but I'm saying it would work more smoothly if the ref had, you know, that
the ref
daylight or whatever you say. Like.
No, the ref having a kind of a grey area just ruins anything in any sport because teams like, you know, it'll always be West Ham getting shafted, Man United getting the call. That type of thing. It's
probably would, but I'd prefer to go back to non-VAR. Than have it being measured. You know that way. I just think that
there's been way more crazy stuff happening with VAR and people getting ruled offside for like millimeters than there ever was without VAR.
Yeah, well, what I've said
you can say that.
You
can remember teams losing. They had no right to lose because of bad refereeing decisions. So like. There's been probably 50 really silly things that have happened in the first 18 months of a new system being brought in. But they're getting less and less. So the big long delays are effectively gone.
But is it though? Like there's like millimeters of people being their toe or their arm, like their hand is fucking further advancing the defender and they're offside. Like that's crazy.
Do you agree with the daylight rule then, Lee, or is it more just that like say like the core, like your chest? Is counted as your offside marker rather than your arm or leg.
Jesus, well, but like when you're talking about VAR.
When you're talking about the offside rule, like what VAR is, because I mean VAR has just been accurate. You know, all it's done is increase. I mean, I know they've made mistakes with it, but the idea is that you're saying it's just a toe offside, but that's just being extremely accurate with the rule, right?
Yeah, but I think it's like I think it's too much. Like I think it's too much, to be honest. Like I think it needs to be something more significant than just any part of your body being more advanced than the furthest part. Like, so if a defender's hand is outstretched behind him for whatever reason, does that mean that that's the point where the player can be offside from? You know what I mean?
I mean,
like, where would you enforce that rule if you're a linesman? Do you know what I mean? There's a part, like, there's a rule there, whether you enforce it just through linesman's eyes or the ref's eyes or VAR.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know, like, I agree the offside rule is crap the way it is at the minute, but VAR just enforces it. Do you know what I mean? So there's nothing.
Yeah, I think my problem with it is, while it's more accurate, it's not 100% accurate. Like, especially when you go to those very close. Like, VAR is great when someone's half a yard offside, or like, you know, half their body is offside or whatever, where you can go, all right, man. But when they're getting into those minutiae of like the toes and the armpits and stuff, they can't tell exactly when the ball was kicked. Like,
yeah, but like even if someone's half a yard offside, like half their body is behind the defender, like what's wrong with that?
Well, change the offside rule.
Yeah, but in the run of a game, right, when a defender's going one direction, the striker's going the other, like in the play of a game, like it's too finite that they're like they're trying to be too scientific about it. Like that's just how the game is, and if the ref doesn't see it, well then he doesn't see it. Now, you're talking about biases and sport.
There's people who say that about lads getting their fucking ankles smashed in. You know, if the ref doesn't catch it or if he makes it look like a good tackle. And it's just that's fine if that's the way you think the game should be played. It's just if you go into grey areas where you're given.
Yeah, I do. To be honest with you.
All right. I mean, seems to be the sport that's moving the other way, and I'm kind of glad it is. Like, I've seen so many seasons ruined by weak refs, and they're only human after all. They get bullied in by, you know, dominant managers and the media and fans, and you just see, like, the Premier League had 5 or 6 years where it was an absolute farce, the calls that were being made.
Like what, so, though? Like, I mean, a farce. Come on. Like, I've seen more outrage over VAR than I've ever seen about, like, refereeing.
That's because everything these days is just outrage. I mean, if there was the Twitter generation was there 10 years ago, it would have been outrage back then. I think the rules have inconsistencies in them, or kind of logical, you know, like offside, I agree with it. The rule is crap. I just think that, get rid of VAR to what? Like, you know what I mean? It's brought in. There's been loads of good decisions made by VAR. And then maybe every second weekend you get like a really strange one that we talk about for 5 or 6 days that we all zone in on.
But I'm like, I mean, it doesn't bother me as much in watching it on the TV. So like the last year, I couldn't really care about it, like, you know, whether it's there or not. But from a person going to the game perspective, like, I think it's a nightmare. And like, I would go back to, well, I would have a similar to the NFL where you can challenge, because that's what you want. You want really bad decisions caught, really like bad omissions caught, and everything else is just part of the game. So what I would do to solve the whole thing is I'd give 5 subs the way they want to have them. And then if you don't make a sub in the first half, you go down to 4. If you don't make it before 60 minutes, you're down to 3. And then every kind of challenge, if you're unsuccessful, you lose a sub. So if you did 5 challenges in the first half and you were unsuccessful in the 5 of them, you'd have no subs. I think that's the way to do it. Because
why not just have challenges that don't relate to subs? Why do you tie the two of those in together?
Well, because you have to have some. You don't want challenge every call. Like, you know,
no, just a limit on the number of challenges you can have. 3 challenges or 5.
Well, maybe 3 challenges. But again, when it gets to the 80th minute, are you going to challenge everything? You know, if you're a manager in the 85th minute, you just start challenging. So, like, have in the NFL, because they have that thing there where you lose a timeout. It's, you know, you have to be like, right, I'm 70% sure this is going to be in my favor because I don't want, like, the timeouts are valuable, and similar, like, you know, obviously substitutes are like valuable to most teams, so you don't want to waste them needlessly. So
come here. Do you know what the problem is, right? And you know one of the problems is, right, comparing it to the NFL, right, there's been, like, they have the same level of scrutiny from video referees, right, but they don't have this line that they bring out in the Premier League, right, and they draw it across the pitch, they draw it up to your man's fucking kneecap, who's, like, behind the defender, It's like, I think, like, if we're going to have VAR, the NFL is a sensible thing, right? You look at it in slow motion, and if you can't see anything obvious to overturn the decision, well, then you don't. You like the NFL doesn't draw these fucking meticulous lines across the pitch to the millimeter, right? And there's actually calls that are reviewed on the NFL, and people are like, no, that should have been overturned, but after video review, it wasn't. And like I just think football's taking it to way too far of an extreme. Right, have your VAR, but just play it in slow motion from the naked eye. Don't have this computer-generated line that's going to cause millimeters to mean you're offside.
Why? All that's doing is making it trickier to be accurate. You know, like I don't know why make it harder to get the decision right. Why not make it?
I don't think the lines are accurate. Would be my argument.
Yeah, like the angles. Like I mean, you're putting something 3D in a fucking like in a 2D.
To be able to do that accurately, like.
Well,
I don't know. I'd agree with the line. To be honest, like, I think VAR is definitely good for the game, but I do think the line.
Is there a penalty in Italy, by the way?
It's being checked.
There's a red card anyway. For someone.
But he's given the red card to someone off the side of the pitch here, to showing us the replay. Now the red card was for someone off the side of the pitch, and they're reviewing the penalty.
It could even be a free.
I would have said harsh when I looked at it.
Yeah, do you know? By the way, you were in the middle of your speech there, but this will be the second penalty. They had a penalty a minute ago and missed it.
Oh, really? Should have went for over 1.5 penalties.
Missed penalty.
Can you do that?
It's only back a penalty, yes or no. I don't know if you can back.
I think that's harsh now. I haven't gone to VAR yet, but I think it's a harsh penalty.
It's not a penalty. It's outside the box, but it's definitely.
Well, that's another one. Like, if it's the free kick in or out.
It's a free in, like. He's rugby.
Here we go. VAR.
No, he's not giving it. But he's waving his hands around. Oh, he is. Red card.
But I think it's going to be a free. Is it a free and a red card?
But you know, if you commit the foul outside the box and it continues into the box, it's up to the ref whichever he gives.
Yeah.
So he could give a penalty here. But anyway,
I don't think that's a penalty. Like, I mean, is he like? Do you think he's being sly by running across him and then pretending he's tripping over?
It looked like that in live, in full speed. It looked like he just played the fool and just went across the back of him.
Played the fool.
This match,
Torino player looks like he's getting ready to take a penalty anyway.
Oh, he is. Yeah, they're all out of the box here.
All right, Grant. Sorry, I'm just seeing your man's head. Like, oh, I'm seeing the Viking now. Lee, you could definitely do that in 2 months.
It's a free. It's a free. He's given the free, lads.
It's actually we're going to call him the footlong.
Not a bad nickname to have.
Not a bad nickname to have by most understandings of the nickname.
Oh, God. Free kick wide. Don't know why I thought that was a penalty, but anyway, gone. Yeah, the thing is, right, in the rules for VAR, it says a clear and obvious error. And that's where they've fallen down in England. Like, if you look at it and it's not clear and obvious, well, then don't overrule whatever happened on the pitch. You know, like that thing you're saying about the line.
Yeah.
If you need that line, then it's not a clear and obvious error. It's
true.
Well, that's fair enough then, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just do it like they have in rugby. I know they might have changed it since, but the way it used to be.
No, they still have just.
The ref makes a call. So, like, the linesman puts his flag up because he thinks it's offside. You let your man take the shot. He scores. You go back and look at it. Is it clearly wrong? No. Go stand. Move on.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
The way they do it,
I actually think that's a nice thing to do.
They say on-field decision is a try, or on-field decision is this, and then there has to be something clear and obvious to overrule the on-field decision, and if there isn't, they let it go.
And the thing about it is, like, why would a referee make a decision in football anymore, right? Because he knows he can just review it after the fact.
Yeah, but I mean I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Like if someone's true on goal, for example, like, and he thinks it's offside, like, just leave it go.
Well, that's what they're not supposed to.
They do leave it go now.
If the linesman thinks they're offside,
if
the linesman thinks they're offside, they put up the flag. But if they don't, they let it go. So Sean Massey was kind of in a bit of trouble the other day because was it City West Brom when she put up the flag So the West Brom player stopped, but City scored, and then he wasn't offside, and the ref gave the goal. So
I blame the players for that, because they all know what's going on.
Yeah.
No, but it's the point. Like, why would you bother in that scenario when it's the ball through and he's like, the ref might think he's offside, but he's not sure. And like in the past, he might not have given it, but there's no incentive to call it there. Let him play it out, and if he misses, he misses.
I mean, at that rate, you don't need lines
anyway.
Just let it be reviewed.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, like I don't know. I think it has to change somehow, because I don't like the way it is in the minute.
No.
But I agree with Slats in a way. Maybe if you could hear what they were saying, and if the ref called the check, I think, because like when I'm watching rugby, you hear the ref kind of he goes like that looks forward, and the play continues, but the ref has kind of said, geez, I'm a bit doubtful of that, but I'm not 100% sure. And then it goes, and the VAR goes, yeah, like, you know, it was forward or whatever. So I think having the ref kind of trigger when the review comes in and being able to hear that communication, I think better than
format. The format of the game of rugby allows that to happen a bit more, and just to kind of, you know, giving a team advantage or that sort of thing where you think there's been an infringement, but you allow it to keep running. I'm not sure if football allows that, you know, in all aspects of the game, but.
Maybe not exactly the same, but it's like it's a lot smoother the way, like when you're watching a game of rugby, there might be one time during the game where, you know, there's a couple of minutes where they're deciding something, but a lot of the time it's fluid. Do you know that way?
But I mean, I even enjoy the decisions that are made in rugby when the game is stopped. Do you remember, LB, when we were down in Thomond, and it was that one where the ball came out the back of the ruck of Toulon, and they moved it back in with their foot, and Conor Murray knew the rules, and he ran around the ruck, picked up the ball and put it down over the try line, and like they were trying to figure it all out, was he onside, and what is the rule here, like how does it even, you know, and you're there watching it all unfold in the stadium, and it's actually exciting because everyone's having conversations about, no, that's offside, or, you know, no, you can't be doing that. I think it adds to the game.
I just think it has been implemented.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like the implementation in the Premier League has been dire. You know, they've done it in such a poor way. Like, you know, there's other leagues do it. Like all the South American leagues have versions of it, and it works really well. The Serie A was a farce for the first 2 seasons, and now it's working quite well. You know, it's easily fixed, and I think there's better ways of fixing it than just scrapping it. But like, you know, you just have to, you know, this thing about, you kind of, what's the word? It's not self-fulfilling prophecy, but if you give a fella a job and his job is to check off points, he's going to make sure that he checks the fuck out of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's all he's there for, and no one sees him. He's just sitting in a van somewhere else. So I think it could definitely be.
I think getting rid of that line is going to be a good start, right? And that's not.
I don't think they will though. In England, I can't see them getting rid of it.
It's crazy. Like, it's just crazy. Like, and just going back to the rugby thing. Like, one of the things that I think is mad about rugby is like someone has a fucking penalty in their favor, right? And like they'll literally be playing for 2 or 3 minutes, going from ruck to ruck to ruck to ruck to ruck. Why don't they just take the penalty?
Well, why bother taking the penalty when you know you're going to go back for it? You know, try and get a try.
But why not? Like it's just everyone's bogged down in rucks and shit. You know the way rugby can get, like, and it's just like, would you not just like? Can you not just take the throw there?
If they want to take the free, then they just normally do something stupid, like give the ball. Like I've seen people kind of intentionally give the ball away or slow it down really slow.
It used to be the case, where the scrum half would just bounce the ball down the ground. He'd drop it intentionally, but now you sometimes can communicate.
Boom, boom.
An absolute beauty of a goal as well. Well, certainly the last 2 passes when I glanced down at the phone. So
and there's been 2 goals in the Netherlands as well, which is open things up.
Is this gone too far as well? It's still suspended here. No, the goal is given.
But the last thing I'm going to say, just about comparing kind of the sports and the VARs and stuff.
That was great.
Like, the one thing that I've noticed in the last couple of years is that, like, the rugby referees are exceptionally good at their job. Maybe apart from Wayne Barnes, but like he's the only one. Wayne Barnes,
one of the best refs around at the moment.
But he's the only one where I've ever watched and kind of, and like, you know me, like I'd watch rugby, but I'm not like a rugby nut. Like I wouldn't be in the same category as you, Slats, you know. But like, you have a decent understanding of the rules, and sometimes I've disagreed with them. But other, like, you know, any other refs I see are just class at their job, and they very, very rarely make a really bad decision. Like, you know, they might get one wrong, but it's one of the very close calls. And it's the same in the NFL league. Like, you know, like the vast majority of the refs are just like, they know the rule book inside out. They get 99.9% of their like decisions correct. But when you go to the Premier League, even with VAR, something that's really obvious, like Souček the other day for West Ham got kicked in the leg and went down for a penalty. It was 100% a penalty, and the refs didn't give it. They went to VAR, and it wasn't given. It was like, how can you be watching this and not give that penalty? Like, you know, it just, it doesn't make sense to me. So it's probably a combination of me not liking the offside rule and the English refs being so bad at their job that has me against VAR rather than actual VAR, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, and like the NFL referees, like some of the calls they make, the holding calls, like when it's, you know, at the line of scrimmage and they're picking out like holding calls, it's like the standard. But like they just seem like, I know Premiership referees are professionals these days. Like football to me isn't a hard sport to actually referee, right? Because it's pretty slow, and like the attention like for the play, like it's not something that's, for me, it's not a hard sport to referee. Like it's not often that you're looking at a decision and it goes completely against what, like it's very rare. And maybe I'm wrong, but like I always feel when you watch something first time, 9 times out of 10 you're getting it right. And
but I think, and again, I could be wrong with this, right? But I think with football, you need to have played the game to get some of the decisions right, I think. And I've never played rugby, so I have no idea whether that's the same in rugby. I've never played NFL, so I don't know. But like for me watching football, because I like played it for fucking 15 years or whatever, like, and not at any great level, but you still know in the game like what impacts you and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I think the refs in football have never played the game. You can tell that they've been refs since they were like 15 years of age. Like,
yeah, the lads who were too shit to get a game, they decided to be the fucking police.
So the ref. And like again, I think, you know, maybe the rugby rules are more black and white with, you know, forward passes and things like that, offsides or whatever. But like in football, when they're making the penalty decisions, they give some that should never be a penalty because they're clear and obvious dives. And then there's other where like a player is definitely being knocked off balance and like at a disadvantage, and they don't get the penalty. It's just, I think it comes down to that. It's mental. Yeah,
I'd nearly say it's the opposite extreme with rugby, rather than the rules are clear and obvious. I think with rugby there's so much grey area that a huge amount is left to the referee's discretion.
I suppose,
they make their decisions themselves, but all you really look for is consistency. So if they're saying one thing's a penalty, you know, against one team, then they have to say the same is the penalty for the other team, you know, half an hour later in the game. Once they're consistent, you kind of tend to accept that, unless they're just, you know, atrocious at a few calls anyway.
Yeah, but things in rugby like holding or how much time you have to use the ball.
That's it. Yeah.
Between game to game, they can change drastically.
There's the second red card for Fiorentina there.
Yeah, headbutt.
It's unbelievable, this game.
What? Why Torino to win that?
Tell you now, actually just moved off it.
But yeah, just the grey area, like, and it also means you can't really strongly disagree with the decision that's made, right? Because it's all about perceptions.
Yeah, I mean that's it. You can say he did this for them in the first half. Why is he calling this against us in the second half? You know, it's just if he's inconsistent, like.
It's 10-1 for Torino, by the way. So 20 minutes to score 2 goals against 9 men. The other thing I'd say though is as well with the calls.
10-1, sorry, LB, was it?
Yeah. Like I'd have a few Yank mates who big football fans, and like they rant about the decisions in the NFL. You know? So like I wonder is an element of like what we know You know, we see very clear things in football because our football because you know it inside out, and then other sports.
Sorry, Albie, just while it's there, right? You saw that headbutt or the headbutt, like, can I just say, like, what is like is
the rule? It's like making contact to the face or something.
Yeah, like I've played matches and that's happened in games and there's been no more trouble for the rest of the game. You know, we flared up for 2 seconds, right? Everyone just walks away from it and it's fine. Maybe a yellow card. That's it. Like, is it a red card at the professional level because of they don't want to be shown it to kids and stuff like that, or why is it? Like, why can't that be allowed there? Because nothing actually happened. They went head to head.
You know what I'd say it is though? It's just again, it's a grey area. Like you do that, like the one in the Ibrahimovic Lukaku thing. The Ibrahimovic went to Nottingham and Lukaku kind of kissed him on the forehead and they kind of both got booked and they moved on. But if you allow the one tonight, which obviously did absolutely zero harm to anybody, and then you get the next one where there's a little bit more. Some fella's going to get loathed someday, and then I don't know. I don't really understand. Like I think VAR is a good thing, but I think the rules in football are gone kind of insane.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I know we moved offside, and we're probably boring the crap out of anybody watching. But the offside rule is a joke. Like remember me and you, Gary, down in Rome. Like,
this is one of the most circular conversations I've ever had. It's like, offside, no refs. Let's go to rugby.
It's that grey area in rugby.
I have an American friend.
Torino are 5-1 now, by the way.
Go on, stick a tenner on them.
American friend thing, though, I'll say to you, lads, like you go on about the NFL refs. Like any American I know thinks like rant about them. Do you know? So I think there might be an element of ye as in us foreigners not getting it as well as locals, and then it being the opposite with soccer. You know?
I don't know. Like I
don't know. Yeah,
I don't see as many ricks. Maybe I don't have the understanding that I think I have, but I don't think I think there's not as many ricks in the NFL, and especially when it comes to the video review. Like there are ricks in general play. There'll be holding calls that weren't called, like that should have been called and things like that. So I'm not saying they're perfect, but they get the video decisions right more often than not, in my mind anyway. But
I'm not gonna let this drop. I'm gonna the VAR decisions that are coming up. Like we're gonna talk about them because it's. I mean, it's not killing the game by any means, but it's just not enjoyable. Like it's not a contact sport at all, really. Like it's fucking like even the slide tackle. Like I saw this clip of Roy Keane on Twitter.
The diving is killing it. I think
the diving is killing it, and like slide tackle is not a skill anymore. Like, and even heading the ball is not as much. But like Roy Keane was actually a weapon for winning the ball back in midfield, the centre of the park, hounding lads, sliding in. Right, you wouldn't do that today.
No. Can't though, do you know what I mean? Because like you said there, people will dive or people will touch someone on the forehead and then it's a red card and then the match is wrecked. So I think the rules are gone to the dogs.
It's fucked.
Yeah.
Goals
kind of came late in these games, but not really late enough for us. Or not enough of them came late for us. Pretty disappointing. I can't believe this Fiorentina match is 1-0 and not 3-2.
I mean, there's more red cards than goals. It's great to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Stuttgart game finished 2-0 here, so didn't get the both teams to score there either.
Yeah, I was cheering that on for the last couple of minutes because the other two look likely. Like,
yeah, they had a few opportunities, all right.
Because Bournemouth at a goal about scramble there that they should have scored from. So
Serie B is still chugging along with absolutely nothing happening.
Yeah, there was a sending off there, which in those leagues kind of kills the game. Like
kills it.
Yeah. Once you see the red card coming out, that's kind of the end of the entertainment.
Yeah. I'd love to know like what actually changed in the Serie B between last season and this season because it's like a different league.
But it's mad. Like, I mean, if you look at, and I know everything isn't based on stats, right? Like, if you look at the chances in there, I'd say there must be 20 chances, because I checked in the first half. I haven't checked the second half. I'm going to go in and check now. But in the first half, there was something like 10 shots and like 4 of them on target or something like that. Although, hold on, that might be the case here. Maybe I was looking at a different game. This could just be a shit game.
It's always possible.
Or else, no, because I was checking on Bet365 earlier. So one of them, Sky Bet must be wrong. So on Bet365, they have 18 shots off target and 3 on target, so like 21 total shots. But on Sky, they're showing 5 shots off target and 3 on target. So I don't know who was right and who was wrong. But like from Bet365 stats anyway, there's still goal mouth activity. It's just there isn't enough like accuracy happening for us. Basically.
I wonder, some of those stats, are they getting inflated to lure people in?
I mean, it's not like I'd love to actually sit there and count it and just see for a game, right, and compare it to what's been said. Like, who's actually out there counting Optas?
I was going to say, we won't name any names, but we all used to work with a person.
Yeah,
I love these stories.
I think you used to work with him, Lee, but I'm not 100% sure if the timelines overlapped. And his job was to sit in the RDS and press buttons on a computer when there was passes and good tackles and stuff in against rugby matches. And like this guy, like, I have no faith in statistics when I think of this guy pressing those buttons. So
but it was actually an Excel spreadsheet.
I don't know. I don't know if it.
But like, what oversight was he have had? Like was this like
none?
Like,
just if he went out to get a cup of tea and he missed it. Like that.
But if you back something like, where were those stats going to?
What comes up on the telly when you're watching it?
The only one they really impacted, was man of the match. He kind of would joke that he could give, if he loved Leo Cullen at the time, he could give him loads of extra tackles and extra yards, and then he'd get man of the match because people thought he had great stats. The thing is, now with Opta, I'm sure they're a bit more accurate or whatever, because people can bet on them.
That wasn't that would have been early 2010s, would it?
Yeah, probably 2011, 2012, I'd say. Yeah.
Well, surely that was right for a few lads to be throwing a few quid on something that wasn't true.
I'm sure. I was thinking, by the way, is it worth showing our viewers, Gary? Not right now, we don't have it lined up, but the shot on target that never was for Lukaku last season.
I didn't know what that was going to come next. Yeah, no.
We out there, Gary.
Like, while we're in a lull, as it were, getting something out for our viewers. No, like, yeah, we should do it. We still have the video and see. We'll get a poll.
It should be on Twitter. I was tweeting it to Opta and they wouldn't reply.
Really? Give us a gist of it there. Like, so he had a shot.
Lukaku had a shot on target. When the ball was played in, Lukaku touched it, kind of bundled it.
When was this?
Tail end of last season during the summer.
Yeah.
So did Betfair do the shot on target market back then, or have they only started that?
Yeah.
No, they started it maybe during the summer. Yeah. I remember looking at it back in May time.
Yeah, the season continued into this. Yeah.
So we had a significant amount invested in the cash cow, who otherwise known as Romelu Lukaku. Two shots on target. And he scored a penalty in the game, so that's obviously his first shot on target. And then the ball came in from the left-hand side, and there was kind of a scramble between him and the defender. So the ball dropped down, and as he was going to the ground, he flicked his foot at it and made contact with the ball, and it rolled tamely into the keeper's hands. So, like, it wasn't a powerful shot on target, but it was a shot on target. And he, like, when he hit the ball, he was at like the 6-yard box. So then in the rules for the bet, they were like, if it's an intentional shot on target that the keeper saves, that's classed as a shot on target. So he didn't get any more on target and we lost the bet. But I was watching the game and I had it in my head that he had 2 shots on target because I counted that one. Just
to pause you, Gary, the rules are even better than that. It says that if if the player touches the ball last and it would have gone in except for the keeper or the defender on the line.
But because I was going to say, like, a player can get a goal where they don't intentionally shoot.
Yeah, so it's even, there's no intent. If it would have gone in except for the keeper or the last man, then it's a shot.
Yeah, so it like the rule definitely accurately said what happened. Now, as I said, it was the worst shot on target that should have ever been classed a shot on target. But it's definitely a shot on target. So then I had to go back and try and find the footage of this, like, you know, a Serie A game, fucking Inter away to fucking Spezia or somewhere like that, like, you know, and go through the game and see where it happened. So I got it, and then I had to take a video of it. So I ended up having really bad footage. But even on the really bad footage, it to me, it's a shot on target. So I put it into a group of loads of lads, and it kind of came back as, like, watching it. I asked, was it a shot on target without putting the rule in? And they were like, oh, you're clutching at straws. And then I put the rule in, and they were like, you have a point. So we'll get it, and we'll put it on Twitter. We'll get our Twitter maestro to stick it up where an argument.
Would there be an argument that, and now I haven't seen the video, but that the ball was traveling so slowly that another defender could have got back and stopped it?
No, like it was traveling enough to go in, and
it was going to roll in.
The two people closest to the ball, but except for the goalkeeper, were Lukaku and the defender, and both of them are lying on the ground.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But like it was actually so close to
nobody else would have been there to stop it. Like,
yeah, exactly. But like the only thing about it was it was difficult to tell who got the last touch, but there was an angle that showed that Lukaku got the last touch in it, and he, like, it wasn't even that it just like hit off him and went. He actually swung his leg at it to try and score, and just kind of hit the ball because, like, he'd gone for like a header, and then they were falling to the ground, and he kind of swung while he was off balance and hit it. But anyway, we'll get it, and we'll stick it up on Twitter, and we'll see the outcome of it. But I still think, like, I'm like, you know, I had an argument with Paddy Power about the bet, and
they stuck to their guns, I take it.
Well, see, the thing about it was they said we take the data from they said we take the data from whoscored.com. And that's it, like. And then, so they were like, basically take it up with whoscored.com. And whoscored.com take it from Opta. So you kind of got sent around the houses to try and guess whether it was a shot on target or not. But, like, I mean, I still think that they should have, like, because they've copied what a shot on target is from the Opta website, but they're not willing to pay out on that. They're only paying out if Opta say that it is.
Well, so, I mean, I get that. Like, I mean, it's easy for them to say that, but you know what I mean? Like, they need. But,
like, I think that they should just say, like, all our stats come from Opta and not put the rule up there. Because
so
by putting the rule up there, like, you know,
I've thrown it in the WhatsApp group. I don't know how to get it onto the SRD Twitter. It's on my own personal account. So I've thrown it into the private WhatsApp group here. If you want to have a look at it, lads.
Yeah, maybe turn your sound down because there's dodgy Italian commentary on it. But have a look there. And I said, this is probably really boring for anybody else watching in.
Okay, are we looking live, are we?
Can't be any worse than the football that's on at the minute. So, by all means, take a moment.
So it's behind the goal, I think, that you want to look at. You see him getting the last touch as he falls to the ground. I'm taking the silence as you're not agreeing with me.
I haven't. It's all jumpy for me.
Anyway, we'll get it and we'll put it up on Twitter. I might try and get a better video of it as well. I must look it up.
Yeah, I just watched it there. Like it's
Well, first one, do you think he touched it, Lee? Do you think Lukaku touched it?
Yeah, I do. I think
if it wasn't for the keeper?
I don't know if it got in.
You don't think so?
I don't know what the momentum of the ball was, but like it needs to be a fucking intent. Like it needs to be an intent, right?
doesn't though. That's the thing. In the rules the bookies have up for shots on target, one of them says if the player touches the ball last and it would have gone into the goal except for the keeper, then it's a shot.
Like any touch.
Yeah.
There's a massive spin on that ball. I mean, that ball, there's an argument that it could have kind of just stopped short of the line.
Yeah, but there's an argument to that for a lot of shots. Like,
yeah, but is that like, sorry, Gary, did they tell you why it wasn't given, or did they just say it's not?
No, they just said, Paddy Power would just like take it up with whoscored.com. And then you go on to whoscored.com and they're just like, nah, we don't care. Like, yeah, because they don't even, because I was saying, like, you buy this data in, so you, Torino just scored there.
1-1.
Like, you buy this data in, so you must have a way of querying it. And they were just like, we don't buy it in, like, we just use whoscored.com.
Yeah, I kind of get that I mean, it's good for them to have that independence of it, that they can just go, it's not our call, like, you know.
Yeah, but I think that in dispute, like,
be getting, they'd be leaning one way and people would be accusing of them being biased and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not them that's going, no, we thought the ball wasn't going to go in there. They're just going, that's the opposite stat, or that's whatever, whoever, whoscored.com.
Yeah, but I think, I don't have a problem with them having that, but I think that they should at least have a dispute mechanism to say, this being raised as a dispute, and then opt to make the final decision and say no, and then that's final, like, that way. Mm-hmm. But like the fact that you don't have, like, again, if you're the stats man and you miss something, there's no way of that ever being rectified.
Yeah,
that way.
No.
So,
well, you can't bring live human activity back to a scientific level. Like, there's fucking.
Well, that's why they put those definitions. You know what I mean? Like, okay, in our human language, having played sports as youngsters, he didn't take a shot. Granted, we all know that it wasn't a shot, but in their definition of what counts as a shot on target, it is.
That's the problem. Like,
yeah. But I don't agree with that. I think he does. Like, when he's falling to the ground, he swings his foot on it, and then he makes contact after swinging his foot at it. It's hard to see. You have to slow the video down to see it. But when you slow it down,
I mean, it's obvious you've looked at it a million times in slow mo. Anyway,
what you said with VAR, like if you got to slow it down to that speed a million times to make a call, well then it was clear. It wasn't clear and obvious.
Listen, this is statistics. Statistics are 100% accurate or not worth having.
Exactly. You don't think there's any argument that the ball isn't gonna reach the goal?
But that's not what the rule doesn't say, that it has to clearly look like it's going to reach the goal. It says
it says if the keeper's the only thing that's going to stop it going in.
But that's a good point. Like, what is a shot on target? Like, if I get you the halfway line and it stops at the edge of the box, but it was going to go on target, like, is that a shot on target?
No, it has to. It is.
Can't be.
Keeper, like, is that what he says?
No, if the grass, if momentum stops the ball reaching the goal, gravity.
If it just stops, then it wasn't on target, was it?
Well, it was. If it had more speed, it was going to go in.
No, I don't think on target is just that the aim was correct, that it was the right trajectory.
The way to look at it is, would the ball have gone into the net without anybody else getting in the way?
Without anyone's intervention.
That's why the crossbar doesn't count as on target, even though we would have all thought it was. Do you know?
Or like the wind, it's not on target if the wind, you try shooting from the halfway line and it just doesn't reach the goal.
Well, it is if when it leaves my foot, it's on target.
What if the wind goes off and it goes wide? Is it still on target even though the ball went wide? Yes.
Come here, Gary. Before we get into too much crazy talk, going back to that period that we were discussing, the other fella from the company that we all worked, I've heard some stories about a football team that was managed by the boss man from the time that had several members, Tyndall and Jimmy and these sorts of guys.
I love how you just bet around the bush. You didn't want to say any names, and then
they're generic enough that no one knows who's what. Like, so. But did you ever play for that esteemed club that had its own kit?
I did, yeah.
Did you? You had a few games.
Yeah, I think I still have the jersey.
Yeah, what was the gaffer like?
Who was the gaffer?
I don't know how I don't know how I could look like that.
I don't think we ever had a gaffer, did we?
Ori.
No.
Oh,
He claimed himself as player manager to me.
Yeah, no, he did. That was the very first one when I first
like
joined.
a trip to France or something, was it?
That's whatever you did with your camera there was like the end of a movie, and it was just zoomed out.
The black circle just comes down and disappears.
And then 007 music and the blood just comes down the top of the screen. I didn't know that Mr. E was involved in that team, Gary.
Oh, originally, yeah, at the very start. Yeah, very, very, very start. And then it got disbanded, and then we brought it back in again. But the exact rule is, so a shot on target is classed as a clear attempt to score.
Back to business.
Exactly. A clear attempt to score that would have gone into the net, but for being saved by the goalkeeper, or is stopped by a player who is the last man, with the goalkeeper having no chance of preventing the goal. And then in brackets, a last line block. So, like, to me, the keeper is in the net. He's preventing it from going in the net to clear a chance. He intends to score a goal because he swings his leg at it. And it should have been a shot on target. But anyway, we'll put it up for a...
It's less vague than I actually thought originally. I thought there was a little bit more benefit of the doubt on the striker than there was in that.
Yeah, I'm not convinced, guys, I have to say. I need to watch it again, though. I was a bit panicked on the phone there.
Yeah, I think that you need to watch the original video as well. That video isn't the right one. I'll get you the video. I'll send it on.
Yeah, we'll get it up on the Twitter box and get a fucking get a poll going, and let's see what the masses think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think this Fiorentina match now is about done. 94 and a half minutes in. I'm actually pretty sure.
7 minutes extra time.
Was there 3 to go?
Yeah.
That was my bet of the day, was both teams to score. Now that was 4-5. I mean, it could have been up after half an hour. So it's actually pretty nice to get it in the end.
What was it, LB?
Just both teams to score.
Aha. Nice.
Walked in.
Yeah, we got greedy saying first half, right? If we had said...
Yeah, that's something we can consider for the better longs. I think that, okay, there's extra value, but by going for a first half goal, we give ourselves a huge amount of extra risk that it ends early.
Yeah. And bear in mind, we started this adventure with 1-20 shots, right? And now we're throwing it on with two games, but a fucking goal in the first half.
15 minutes left in the half. Yeah, I think we can nip the first half goals in the bud, unless there's particularly overwhelming, logic behind it, not just because we want to hurry things up.
Which is rare, right? I mean, yes, they're nice, but I mean, I think we need to find a new disciplinarian, a new chief whip, if you will.
Yeah.
Because himself is an absolute failure, if you ask me.
The sheriff has gone way too...
He's drinking in the saloon every night and there's fucking mayhem in the street.
Yeah. I think Mr. South London over there should be our new sheriff.
I think so.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I think you need a bit of time in the hot seat. And do you know what, though? When you get a bit hot under the collar, you tend to kind of go on a good run. So I think...
He needs to be pressured.
Yeah, I think
I'll take it on board.
Easy to say it now that Slats is not on the screen.
Who's trying to tell him? I mean, this is now we're going to have to break the news live on air that he's just after been... I mean, lucky we've given him another nickname, right? He can be the little nerdy editor during the week, right? so it's not totally lost.
Well, I thought what did you call him? The sheriff and editor?
Yeah, or the editor and sheriff, which I thought was a great name for a fucking restaurant/bar.
Slats got something bad to tell you. And Lee
something bad to tell you. Just sit down there.
Lee wants to tell you something.
There's a new sheriff in town.
I'm delighted if there's a new sheriff in town.
You got sacked.
You got sacked. We were just analysing this fucking 2 games, 1 goal.
We talked about it behind your back, and we'd realised that you were putting pressure on us to go first half goals. So you got too loose as a sheriff.
But what happened, Slats, actually? What happened? Because you were the one who was like, no, we need to stick to 1-20, I remember LB trying to sneak in an L 1-17, and you're like, no. And, obviously,
we started a different type of roller. That was a roller of, ridiculously safe bets. Like, I mean, I know we were saying about 1 to 20s, and the idea was more things that like you're so certain it's definitely going to come in. You're happy just to make that 5%. But the roller during the show,
howdy, boys.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go too far to find that, guys. Where was it?
I love it. Yeah, he's the sheriff. That's the end of that conversation.
That has to be it from now on.
I don't know what we're going to do if he turns out to be a bad sheriff, because there's no way we're getting out of that hat.
It actually looks like a sombrero on the screen.
Man, you should wear that. That looks great.
I got it in Tesco, Texas. Texas. Oh God. New sheriff in town anyway.
That's it.
Tesco's finest. I love it.
No, it's Texas's finest.
I know Texas finest. It's authentic. It's a you have a little winkle picker pair of boots there as well.
I'll wear that now. Every time we're deciding on a bet, that's going to come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Bournemouth scored there as well. We were 5 goals out of 6 in our.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mine's the German match.
We finished 2-0.
But who picked it as the?
Oh, I did.
PK. Oh, was it? No, but Slack, you were just telling us there. You were just giving us your excuse about how your discipline has wandered over the.
Yeah. So the roller we're doing at the moment is just across the space of the show. So I figure, like, I mean, say if you did a bet instead of doing first half goals, say you did over 1.5 match goals, and the second goal goes in, in like the 85th minute, and you get your 100 quid up to 120 quid. And, we're 2 hours deep into the show, I just feel it's a bit, I don't know, there's not enough drama to it, like.
So you want the drama, okay?
Drama for the roller across the show. So you need to get a goal early. You can't be.
I agree with that, but I think we should probably leave the first half goals. I know they're great value, and I mean, I recommended one last week, but they just, like, if we do a over 1.5 goals, at least you kind of get a bit of, length out of it.
Yeah, that was what I didn't want, though, was length. You don't want to be here for 2 hours to make 20 quid and say, right, good night, everyone. We're up to €120 from our €100 starting point.
Better than being on zero.
Why not? We're up to 150 after our 100 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, the new sheriff anyway,
the new sheriff is going to decide.
Shots on target.
Yeah.
And I think the first rule that the sheriff is introducing is we're not splitting our pot anymore. It's all or nothing.
Well, I agree with that. But can I just qualify that last week we did a first half goal bet and came in, and then the new sheriff insisted we do a shots on target bet. And the
new sheriff didn't insist. The new sheriff put it out there as a suggestion, and the sheriff authorized it. The old sheriff, who was terrible at his job, authorized it.
I thought you knew what we were talking about.
We have to be free to put opinions forward, but like, listen, lads, you put the opinions forward, I'll take the blame. Not like the old guy who.
You think we've unleashed the beast here?
Take the credit when it's going well, and then give out.
Yeah. I mean, joking aside, Gary, of course I have faith in our new sheriff, right? Of course, like, we elected him here duly. Slats, your time will come again, I'm sure. But I think, Peter Kennedy may have been an old show as well. He's been
speaking of Peter Kennedy,
the Protestant conscience of us all for so long.
He's just texted into the group and reminded us that he had nothing to do with that losing German bet tonight, Lee, and he'd like you to not blame him live on air for bets. Consider yourself warned. Don't do that.
He's always watching.
The Hills have eyes, Lee.
Peter Kennedy's always watching. What?
That's
fair enough.
The Dutch games, there's been 2 second half goals in each of them, Gary. So
yeah, Serie B cost it. Everything else is up apart from Serie B. So like it was the Torino Fiorentina, the Utrecht game, the Grafschap or whatever they're called, and it's 0-0 in the Serie B.
Yeah, what did we not find last year with the Serie B that like if there wasn't a goal in the first half, it was just ominous the over 2.5 or over 3.5 or whatever we were backing was going to come in, whereas if there was a goal or two in the first half, there'd be 2 or 3 more in the second half.
Yeah, they were definitely polar opposite, and that's kind of what my thinking was there. I was like, over 1.5 will definitely come in, and then obviously not. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're loving the fucking obscure betting anyway. I mean, that's what Friday does to us. Like, we need to focus on other markets, and we didn't look at the ex-sheriff's love of.
I'd like the what we were talking about a while ago, the race to 5 corners or the race to this. Those sort of bets might offer us a bit of value. They can come in quickly, but they're also not.
They're never dead.
They're not dead at half time if they're coming quickly. But you can, if you do a race to 3 corners instead of a race to 5 corners. I'm not even sure what the scope of those markets is, but you know what I mean. You could kind of determine yourself how long the bet should go on. I think it's a bit of both.
The even money bet is usually 10.
Yeah.
Unless there's like an exception, like if it's, and the bookies seem to kind of go odd on it. They'll take, City away to West Brom, City at home to West Brom, where expected to batter them. The bookies tend to think they'll get more corners, so there it might be 11.5, so 12. But usually
about 10, is it?
10 is your even money bet, yeah.
Just sorry to interrupt you, lads. I flicked on the French game here. Lyon are playing, and they needed a win here. They were 1-3 at the start of the game. I had no bet on. I think they're playing Montpellier, or that's their Bordeaux, and they went 1-0 up, but it was 1-1. Got into the 93rd minute, 5 minutes added on, and you should see the goal that's been scored. Some finish. So if you get a chance after this to look it up. It's well worth seeing it. And for anybody,
you weren't on it for them to win, were you?
No, I wasn't on it. I noticed that earlier on they were 3-10, I think, before the game started, and I looked at it and I was like, I don't need it. Like, there's obviously no value on that. And then I just said I'd flick it on to watch the last couple of minutes because it'd be interesting. But the goal they scored, the finish was class. Like,
what the fuck
scored it?
Sorry, what was that, Albie?
Who scored it?
Dubois. The ball came in from the left and kind of bounced, and he caught it on the volley sweetly. And I kind of went into the arch of the goal, the connection joint of the post and the crossbar. But it was a really tight angle as well. So it was a class finish. Just check it out.
Nice.
Come here, just because I saw it very much change the subject, but the Six Nations start next week.
France just confirmed today, although they said they're going to continue monitoring it, but they just gave the official go-ahead for their end today, or maybe yesterday.
Or their way to Italy first weekend. I saw that anyway a few weeks ago, but that crept up very fucking quickly.
Yeah, it always seems to do it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, the Six Nations isn't until Paddy's Day sort of thing, and then all of a sudden it's like
it ends on Paddy's Day. Usually.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Ireland playing next weekend.
It's kind of Sorry, what did you say there?
Who are Ireland playing next weekend?
I think they're Wales and Cardiff, aren't they?
Yeah. It's definitely Wales. I don't know if it's Cardiff or not, but it's definitely Wales.
It's not to put pressure on you, but I assume you're going to do up a little preview for the site and give us a little preview next week. You were very unlucky last year.
I guess no to that now.
I know, but well.
The sheriff's in town. Here we go. Look, here we go.
So that's in order, lads. That's in order.
Get on it.
Gaz Putin over there in his fucking Texas fucking.
You call him Gaz Putin?
Gaz Putin.
But yeah, so you were very unlucky last year. You tipped France up before the Six Nations, and they were 6 or 7 to 1, weren't they, to win the Six Nations before it started?
Grand Slam. I did a bet for them to win the Grand Slam in England to finish second at I think it was 50 to 1. And they managed to fuck it up against Scotland. And aside from that, based on how England went, England would have finished second to their Grand Slam had they not lost to bloody Scotland. And I meant to look at. No, I didn't end up backing, but I on the preview for it, I had tipped the French come half Dupont for player of the tournament at I think maybe 20. Did win that, but
nice.
yeah,
actually a great preview you did for that. It was really
good.
Yeah, it's a good old tournament for a kind of a bet because you have that 8-week period that it's going on, and and it all unfolds. It's kind of an exciting period for it.
And who's the favourite now? Like, what's the lie of the land?
I haven't looked at any odds or anything yet. I mean, England and France will be favourites to win, and it'll just depend on who is at home.
Here, I saw a headline in one of the papers. That was an English paper, but it basically said, because is this an anniversary for English rugby? Is it maybe 150 years or something?
Right.
There was some comment. It was something like favorite tag on anniversary year or something like that. So it made it sound like they were favorites. So
yeah, they are home to France this year. Thinking about it, because they lost in Paris last year in a very entertaining game.
Yeah.
So they're home to France. They're away to Ireland, who haven't been performing brilliantly. But yeah, it makes sense that England are favourites home to France.
Like fucking big Paul O'Connell's in the. I've been listening to I wake up here in the morning, throw on Today FM, and what's his fucking I can't even remember the DJ's name, but he doesn't know anything about sport, right? And he's talking to the fella who does the sports news every morning, and he's like, "Oh, so Paul O'Connell now in the Irish coaching setup, is he?" It's just so awkward, but it seemed random that he got involved, kind of out of nowhere, really, and now he's been drafted in to be.
See, while you're up there, what would you call who's favourite? Or I sort of said it to England, but what do you think England's odds are to win it?
2-1.
6-4.
Yeah, probably a little inside 2-1. Yeah.
He gets it 11-10. Seems low. France are 5-2, which seems a little bit tempting.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
France have to play in Ireland and in England.
Yeah.
This is usually the time that Ireland play well, when there's no danger of them winning the World Cup or anything like that. And the World Cup comes around, and all the players are just
between World Cups.
That's it. They just put their fucking hearts on the line for 2 years in the run up to it, and then get there, and they're absolutely knackered and can't run an inch.
What odds are Ireland, LB?
7-2.
Okay, they're not that far outside France. Yeah, I mean, they've England and France at home, a poor Wales and Scotland and Italy away. And
come here, do you think that Italy are going to get? I know there was talk about it a while ago, but will Italy get dropped soon, or will they keep them in it?
I haven't heard much talk about it in recent times. There was talk about it when Georgia performed well in the 2015 World Cup, but they haven't. They haven't done enough since. They didn't do enough in the last World Cup to have people talking about it. So
I think the Italian club's doing a little bit better as well. Is kind of
that's
giving them a bit
of yeah. And Conor O'Shea didn't manage to win a Six Nations game in 15 attempts while he was coaching them, but did get credit that I'd imagine he rightly deserved to get for the work he did at that kind of ground level, at the club level. Not like that he was working directly with the clubs, but just at the whole system, of getting people into the
structures, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. That's what his kind of real expertise is at that level. He did it in England for a few years. He's brilliant at it. So his success or his legacy with what he did with Italy will be in years to come, rather than in the period that he was there, in charge there. So, they could be on the up, and like I was saying, they've done all right recently. So I'm not expecting much from them this tournament, but I don't think there's anyone beneath them to really be putting the squeeze on to break into the Six Nations ahead of them.
But he'd never have the credibility to be in the running for the Ireland job, for example, if Andy Farrell left.
I would think he does. I mean, he'd be my choice for it if I had anyone. I'd have, if what I dream about at night is Conor O'Shea, Ireland coach.
Oh God! Don't tell the missus that.
Raj, assistant coach, or else.
Well, welcome to sportsrundown.com, where we share our intimate details.
Intimate details. What do you dream about at night? I dream about Conor O'Shea.
Oh yeah, big time. Every night.
But you would see him as a strong candidate. Like, does he?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea in terms of what way he's regarded by the people who would be picking, who'd be making that decision.
Yeah,
there was talk of him in the media, like the kind of like in any sport, who's going to be the next coach. But he was committed to Italy at the time that Joe Schmidt was leaving Ireland, and he wasn't going to break that commitment. And that's just the type of person he is as well. Like, you have that kind of loyalty and honesty about him too, that he wouldn't just go, oh yeah, grand, Italy, feck off, I'm going back to Ireland.
You really do know him intimately, lads.
No,
I'd like to think so, but he mightn't agree with that.
What's his favourite colour, man?
Oh, it's definitely...
Valentine's special, just lads talking about Conor O'Shea for an hour.
Conor O'Shea. I mean, he's like a little charismatic fella, but like he never played in Ireland, right? He always played in England.
No,
or was he with Munster?
I think he played most of his career with Leinster. But I mean, it was a little before my time. Now he was in the Jonah Loan rugby 1995 game as Ireland's fullback. So. Yeah, that'd be where I see
early days, pre-professional.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was just telling it. That's
up there. He was with Leinster for 2 years and made a grand total of 0 appearances, and then had 127 appearances for London Irish, and that was it.
Yeah,
so
like that's what I was going to say. Like, does the fact that he never had much of his career in Ireland hurt him? Like, because it seems like
he had an international career with Ireland.
The international, yeah.
So I don't think not being involved in the club scene would have affected him.
Yeah.
I thought he did play more with Leinster. I'm
just looking at here, maybe there's just a gap in his Wikipedia page.
Maybe, I don't know. But like, it seems like there's not many Irish coaches that coach for a Six Nations nation, you know what I mean? He doesn't just seem to me, like, it's Slat, so you obviously appreciate him, but for me, looking in, he doesn't seem to get any level of.
As well, though, just with the club thing, you have to remember that back then there was no European Cup, there was no Pro 14. So, like the Munster, Leinster, the provincial rugby scene in Ireland was just interprovincial matches or touring matches.
There was a null as opposed to 0 in there for his Wikipedia entry, because I'm reading here. He was selected for the provincial side Leinster in 1993. Where in 1994 he helped Leinster to secure their first interprovincial rugby championship since 1984, despite the title being shared. I don't know what that means.
What, 2 of the 4 teams shared it?
He scored Leinster's first ever try in a professional European tournament, scoring against Italian side Milan in the inaugural Heineken Cup. Leinster topped their pool with a win over Pontefract and failed to progress past the semi-final when they were defeated by Cardiff.
When was that? 93?
94. 93, 94. It's pretty unclear.
I'd say that was mental.
That was 95, as the 94-95 season that it started, but
his main international rugby title is coming third in 2000 Six Nations. So, not sure.
That's the way it was back then. Like, I mean, the golden age of Irish rugby that we've all enjoyed, it wasn't the case historically by any stretch.
But come here, like before 94 was Leinster, like Leinster was obviously a thing, but like the clubs, like the AIL was the big thing then, was it? Or what was Leinster at that stage?
Yeah, I mean, it was just that interpro competition, really. Like, there wasn't anything outside of that. I mean, there's the famous win that Munster had over the All Blacks in 82, but that they were one-off kind of tour matches that they would have, played against touring international teams, and then the interpro. And I guess they might have taken on a English club here and there, maybe.
But the interpro is more like that state of origin thing, where it's like just a once-off, like it's not a regular occurrence like it is now.
What do you mean? No, I mean the interpros would have just been like competing between Munster, Leinster, Connacht, and Ulster. every year.
But just like 1 or 2 or 3 games a year. Like there was nothing else.
That's it exactly. Yeah. Just, I mean, it's nearly just like a showcase. Now, I don't remember the tournament. I just know of its existence. Like I don't recall any of those games. The European Cup is the first time I started watching Munster play rugby. Back in the late 90s. Like.
But they still obviously had the aura, like before Munster became that entity, the professional entity. Like it did have the aura from the Interpros from back in the day, like from obviously playing against the All Blacks and stuff.
Well, the most famous thing is their victory over the All Blacks.
That Guinness ad was class. Like I'd never heard of it until the Guinness ad.
Really, there's a good stage show called Alone It Stands. That kind of documents the whole build up on the day of it and all that, and it's entertaining. It's kind of nearly a comedy, but just a good show. Like it's enjoyable, I'd say, even to a not the biggest fan of it. It's just
I've heard of it. All right, yeah.
It's Conor O'Shea in it.
Unfortunately, not.
The only thing he's in, Gary, is Slats' Dreams.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
I have no regrets about saying that, by the way, in case.
But it wasn't just like I have the odd dream about him. It's just kind of like every night I have a dream that Conor O'Shea is just coming into my life as the Ireland manager.
With Raj in the mix as well.
Obviously, that's acceptable.
Yeah. Well, those dreams were the night when it became they were the nights when it became overwhelming, right? You had to wake up and throw water in your face and stuff, calm yourself down.
A cold shower.
Yeah.
But there's either of them in the mix for head coach. You wouldn't know. I mean, I certainly couldn't see Raj being Conor O'Shea's number 2 anymore. Just the trajectory his coaching career has taken.
But come here, like, is it not interesting? Like, so say obviously Raj, like, and O'Connell being in the squad, like, surely they all want to be the next coach after.
Say that again.
Like would O'Gara now not be looking at being maybe like one of the candidates to replace Farrell? Like, is there going to be a bit of a jostling between O'Connell and O'Gara to maybe be the next man?
O'Connell won't. O'Connell doesn't have enough experience. He hasn't coached anyone.
But he played. Like, say if you compare it to football, like there's a lot of coaches there's a lot of players go straight into management in football.
Yeah, but how often? How does that work out for them usually, Lee?
And
it happens. Sorry, go on.
Do they ever go into international management from playing?
No, but no, good point, right? Good point. But I would have said, like, in terms of good point, yeah. Like, no.
Good point, Bob made. 1-0 David Slattery.
Yeah, 1-0 David Slattery, yeah. No, I was just thinking, like, the Premier League, like, but then I was thinking, like.
But even if you think about it, like, how many of them really go straight from playing and 2 years later are coaching a Premier League team? Probably the fastest is Lampard, and that didn't last long. Most of them don't. Like, if they turn back up, it's years later.
Yeah.
Look at Stephen Gerrard doing a good job up in Scotland, not really.
Doing a great job up there, in fairness to him. Fantastic.
Third season up there.
Yeah. He'd be gone this year. He'd be gone after this season, I'd say.
If they win, he's got to bounce. It's the perfect time for him to go. But he did 2 years coaching before that, and then went up there to a much lower level and did 3 years. So it's a more gradual increase for him. So
yeah, but he does have them, like. I mean, I'm sick of talking about it. Like they're organised, right? But he has done a fucking great job, in fairness. But like for him, like what like I don't know if we're jumping to talk to this, but what is his next move now? Like if he leaves there, like he can't go to like a middle of the road Premiership club or could he? I don't know. I don't know what his next move would be from that.
Well, you have to look at like someone like Brendan Rodgers, sure he took Leicester over Celtic, that way. So
yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised
expect to go to that level.
If he went to a championship team. To be quite honest,
kind of a championship team in with a shout of promotion kind of side.
Yeah. If he goes to a big team, if he don't a lot of those managers you see, they turn up and they come from Portugal or someplace like that, like a smaller league, and their kind of CV stamp is that they won the title, and then they go somewhere else and they just can't, because they jump up between making, Rangers, catching Celtic. Obviously doing a great job at Rangers, but catching Celtic asleep. It's not the same taking, Chelsea, Spurs, Liverpool to the next level down in England. So I wouldn't be surprised, and he seems to be going about his career the smart way. So I wouldn't be surprised if he went to some championship and tried to bring them up, and then he'd have a promotion from the championship and a SPL title on his
I'm going to throw it out there of Crystal Palace. I think
championship
definitely Hodgson's last season at Crystal Palace, because he's about 90, and Gerrard could win the league and then jump ship to the Premiership.
He has as much ear hairs as me, but yeah, I'd like the fucking child. Like, I think going into, like, no manager would ever take a championship job, I don't think, unless they're coming up. Like, I wouldn't see moving from Rangers to the championship as I'd stay at Rangers, to be honest with you. And
so would I, because you've got the European football and stuff. So I think it'd have to be Premiership, but I think Palace would be a good fit for him.
But I mean, Palace's squad is ancient. There's a huge rebuild there. There's a legitimate chance Palace go down in the next 2 seasons.
I don't know about that. Like,
I'd say they'll be in the top 5 in the relegation market next season. I'll make that bet with you now. Starting the top 6.
Well, I'm not going to make that bet.
That's a big reach from 5 to 6.
Well,
I mean, there's probably only going to be 8, really, 8 or 10 in that anyway. Yeah.
But whatever, I think they're a legitimate relegation shout over the next couple of seasons, because their squad is so
old. But they're a legitimate relegation shout every season, in fairness.
Yeah, so they love it. They love it.
If he goes down there after winning the league with Rangers and gets relegated with Crystal Palace, that's an awful move for him. I wouldn't go. I don't think he'd go near a relegation.
And what's the best he can hope to gain from that move as well?
Yeah. You get someone like Derby promoted. It's so much better than coming.
Yeah, but getting out of the championship is an absolute.
Yeah, you could probably think a bit there too. It's a slog.
Which Premier League team would take him next season?
I'd say top 7, top 8 teams, like top 10, I don't know, like most of the Premiership would take him.
Newcastle.
No, but I mean, just Newcastle probably make it. Somebody who I know are going to be looking for a manager, but if they manage to stay up, like a club like Newcastle, they have a few quid, you could do well there. I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't be speaking so highly of him, but I like him a lot. I think he'll do well.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll keep focus on it.
It's an interesting one to follow, but I don't think, obviously you have a particularly high regard for the SPL, but you look at where managers who come down, they don't tend to get, that marry up is an awful lot lower down than you think. Yeah, I think we're at the natural end of the show here, so we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for tuning in. It's been pretty enjoyable night, even if the football wasn't exactly what you would have hoped. We'll be back next Friday, and I think we seem to have sorted out the technical issues you might have noticed over the last couple of weeks. So appreciate you sticking with us, and we will see you next week.
Nice one.
Cheers.
Look. Make sure we're off air now before we go back to